10:06, 560 QAM. Neil's still sick. Called me later than usual and was all dressed and ready to go, but he couldn't actually make it all the way to the car. So here we are again. Joe, wake up. It wasn't that long of a song. I just wanted to get it out of the way first thing because, number one, I didn't want to play Serving a Lifetime right out of the box because that's all that we're all talking about this morning, and we've been playing it to death, and yes, I probably will, before the show is done, play it again, but just because everything's on the same pot over here, so I want my other CD pot. So now there you go. I played the thing off the computer. It's out of the way. I can refer back to it. See, they're taking care of business.
Let me see Denor and Ronnie.
See, did you see? Because the wife, first of all, I said juicy. She watches court TV all the time. Like Al Goldstein, they're obsessed with reality court drama. So she watches it all the time anyway. Every time I turn around, she's got it back on. So she's been watching the entire trial, etc. and so on. This defense attorney, what a goofball he is. I don't know what his name is. I'm sure it's on one of these clippings that I have piled up over here somewhere. What an idiot. Is that who we were listening to doing the cross of the one little girl? Asking her stupid questions. Like, who's taller? Mr. Gruno. Are you sure? Yeah.
Actually, I think that was the prosecutor you were listening to.
Idiotic questions like to try to screw her up somehow. Are you sure he had his hand on the trigger? Yeah. Where did he have his finger? On the trigger. And where was his finger? On the trigger. Are you sure? Yeah. How do you know? Because I was looking at it. Why? Because, asshole, when somebody pulls a gun out in the classroom, you take notice. No matter how dense you are, no matter how short your attention span is, that's something that you look up to. You look up at that. Hey, look, he's got a gun. But the wife was watching an interview with one of the girls' dads. Did you see that part? And the girl's dad was saying, I think Mr. Gruno saved those two girls because, when the boys, he's all in love with them and he's showing up with the gun wanting to see some people. Mr. Gruno doesn't know what it's all about, what he's going to be doing. If these girls spurned him or something, I think Mr. Bruno took a bullet for those girls. That's an exact quote. And we don't know that wasn't the case. We don't know.
Mr. Bruno.
Mr. Gruno, whatever.
Oh.
I want to say Bruno. Bruno, my good friend. But that's a valid theory, I think. That girl's dad has a right to speculate, don't you think?
Oh, sure.
But this ties in. I'm glad I was watching that testimony there because here's one of the students, and something that I have heard no one talk about this yet, is the effect that this is going to have on everyone in that class that saw their teacher get blown away. This teacher who, according to everyone, was a really good guy. We've had good teachers, we've had bad teachers in our lives, right? This, according to everyone, and maybe they just don't want to say bad things about the dead. Maybe some people have a problem with that. Like, I don't have a problem with saying bad things about the dead. If they were an asshole when they were alive, why should you kiss their dead ass? Do you know what I'm saying? They were a live asshole, now they're a dead asshole. They're not an asshole anymore. I'll say some good things about them. They're dead. They were an asshole, and now they're dead, so it's a good thing.
They're just a hole.
Like Robert Blake's wife. Everybody, what do you think about that? I think he had her killed, and I think she had it coming. From a long time since, or hence. I think she screwed over one person too many, and somebody gave her what she deserved. She was a con artist, a liar, and a whore, and she got what she was only ever going to get for being the kind of person that she was. So that's why I'm not all bent out of shape about her fate. That tape, did you hear that tape about her?
No.
Where she's talking to her friend about, who she should be hooking up with and who's more famous, and she was having sex with Christian Brando, and I should have hooked up with his dad because he's the most famous man in the world, and yada yada. She was a money-grubbing barnacle of a whore, so she got what she deserved. And hopefully Nathan will get what he deserved. So the reason that I played the I Don't Like Mondays is because there's a line in that song called "The Lesson Today is How to Die." That's one of the lines in the song. Because it's about a teacher in England, I guess, or Scotland or somewhere that took a gun into class and killed herself in front of her class. And that's what that line refers to. The lesson today is how to die. The teacher demonstrated how to die by blowing her crap away. Unless I'm wrong, somebody might know the real story. That's just what I was told. Also, somebody might know the name of the Boomtown Rats song that I liked almost as much as that one, and I can't think of it right now, or yesterday. And it's not Rat Trap.
Rat Trap.
No, it's not Rat Trap, and it's not Up All Night, which I hate. Up All Night. Remember that one?
Yeah.
They played it to death, and it was awful.
Are you sure it's not Rat Trap?
It's not Rat Trap. Anyway, I'm going to talk more about... Because I was going to talk about Nathaniel yesterday, but we got all distracted by homeless people and dry humping and whatnot. So we'll save that for today, because it might be my last chance to talk about it until Friday. 10:11 on 560 WQAM.
This is Neil Rogers. You've heard me talk about fast training for a long time. If you're bored, if you're unchallenged by your current job, do yourself a favor. Don't wait till technology passes you by.
10:17 on 560 WQAM, 5670560 in Dayton, Broward, pound 560 on AT&T Wireless. That's a free call. 877-785-6345 is also free for those of you out of the Dayton, Broward County areas. So, I don't know what other parents do or say to their children when their child comes home from school and says that they have a problem with a teacher. It happens. It's happened to me. How about you?
Problem
with a teacher? Teacher was an asshole. Teachers are human. They can be assholes.
Hundreds,
Right.
thousands.
Sure, exactly. I tell my daughter, I explain to her, the reason that you're going to school is for three things, three educational things. Number one, to fill your head with facts and figures and knowledge about the world and learning, reading, writing, arithmetic.
All of these things.
Number two, you're learning how to socialize with your peer group, how to interact with people who are your age in your peer group, how to be, one of them and also stand apart from them, how to negotiate the fact that you're part of a society and you have to learn how to be a part of a society and learn to get along with people in your peer group. And number three, you have to learn how to deal with authority figures, like your teacher and your principal and the hall monitor and things like that, because when you are an adult, you're going to need those three things. You're going to need knowledge of those three things. And each one of them is probably as important as everything else. Like, you could make a lot of money without a great deal of education. Just listen to the music industry, for example, or talk radio, for example. You don't need a whole lot of education necessarily to make money, but you do need to be able to get along with people around you and especially authority figures. And I tell my daughter, when she complains about a teacher who might be an asshole, I say, however bad your teacher is, he or she is nothing compared to what you're going to have as a boss. Because most assuredly, your boss will be an asshole. And most teachers, while they're going to be sensitive to your needs and they're going to try to be nurturing and helpful to you, your boss is going to have no interest whatsoever in your happiness, your contentment, nurturing you, anything like that. Your boss is going to be purely demanding of a certain level of performance from you, and if you don't, you're fired or something, or at least you'll be because sometimes the kid comes home, oh, the teacher yells at us, oh, and the teacher embarrasses us in front of the other children, and I tell her, shut up. No, I don't say that. I say, honey, that's nothing. You're there to learn to get used to that asshole authority figures, because it's just a sampling. It's just a taste of what you're going to have to deal with when you get out into the world. No one is going to be interested in your feelings, in the workplace. What? What's so funny?
No, you're right.
To tell her to shut up?
I'm thinking of how this affected me and how the asshole authority figures in my life have prepared me for
absolutely
my work environment.
Absolutely. It's just as a sample. It's just so that you can practice dealing with them, because you're going to have to. So here you have these kids are sitting in class, and all of these other kids. So you're doing the same thing I do. You say something and then you repeat it back to see how it sounded. Anyway, it's not the same as talking to yourself, but almost. And you're laughing because it's true. So, okay, stop. Stop laughing. Okay, all right. Collect yourselves. By the way, everybody said that last half hour, which I thought was murder yesterday,
was great.
Okay, whatever, turns you on out there. I'm still bleeding from it. I've still got a stake on my eye from that last half hour yesterday. So here's the lesson, because everything is a lesson that's happening to these children when they're in school. That's what I try to tell my kid. Everything that's going on in school, honey, is part of the lesson, whether it's planned or not. Whether it's what you think you're there for or not, you're getting an education. No matter what you think is going on there, you're getting an education. If your teacher's an asshole, then that's the lesson plan for that day. How to deal with an asshole authority figure. Figure it out. So that's going on in the heads of all of these kids in every classroom and in every state and every city, is they're getting a lesson while they're sitting in that class. And the lesson on this particular day was how to deal with your teacher being murdered. The point I'm trying to make is, what if the kids walk away from this experience? First of all, they're going to have post-traumatic stress disorder. People who are trained, who have military training, go out into little penny-ante combat missions. That whole Grenada thing, those Marines, or was it the Marines that we sent to Grenada?
I'm not sure.
Army?
I think so, because I saw Heartbreak Ridge.
And it was Marines, wasn't it?
And it was Marines.
They're trained for that sort of thing. They were coming back with post-traumatic stress disorder, because shooting people is something that causes problems in our psyche. Duh, it should. Seeing people get shot will cause trauma. Seeing someone that you like and have a relationship with, like a good teacher, will be traumatic. All of these children will be traumatized. They'll probably wind up in therapy. They're going to have issues for the rest of their life over what they witnessed. But the lesson isn't over yet. Because now we get into the now what situation. Now the lesson is going to be one of two things. Either this kid gets what he deserves, and he's not going to, as far as I'm concerned, but maybe, life in prison, that's the best we can do, okay. Or he's going to, see, the kids are watching the news. They're involved in this. They're observing what's going on. Not just the kids in Mr. Gruno's class, but everyone else in the school and everyone else in the city is watching this, because guess what? It's in the news, and it has something to do with them. When I was a teenager, I cared about teenage things that were going on in schools, school riots or whatever, things like that. So you know that all of the teenage kids, those with half a brain, are watching this story and following this story because it has to do with their world. So we're going to send a message to them one way or another. Either you get what you deserve when you kill your teacher. People who deal with authority figures that way go away for a lifetime, and that's the lesson that they'll learn. Or they're going to be taught that if you blow your teacher's crap away, everyone is going to rally to your defense, everyone is going to make apologies for you, and you're going to get the attention that so many of these kids are hungry for. You're going to get the help that you need. There were times in my adolescence when I felt I needed some help. I had friends that I could talk to about it, got through it, whatever, got through it. But there are a lot of kids that maybe they don't have friends, they're loners, like all of a sudden they're saying this guy is, which he's not. They're going to think about dealing with their problems this way. And we're really thinking about sending a message to all of the kids everywhere that if you shoot your teacher, this is a wonderful way to get the help that you want. That this is a acceptable way to demonstrate your need for assistance and attention. This is your cry for help, is I'm going to shoot somebody, and then everybody's going to come running, and I'm going to get sensitivity and psychotherapy and... Do you know what I'm saying? All of these people are going to huddle around you and take you in and reward you for blowing your teacher's crap away. And I got way more to say about it, but for some reason people are on here. Maybe they want to say something, or maybe they're cranks. Miami, hello.
Hey, George, how you doing?
All right.
I wanted to give you the story behind that Boomtown Rats song.
Please.
Bob Geldof was sitting in the Atlanta radio station doing an interview. I think this is 78 or 79. And the story came across the teletype wire about a girl, about Brazil's age, a couple of years younger or older maybe, who went into school and blew away a bunch of her classmates.
Oh.
And when the shrinks asked her, why did you do it, all she replied was, I don't like Mondays.
Okay. Sounds like a valid reason.
So it's a real chilling song.
Sure, it is. And it's a good song, too. What's that other song I like that I can't think of?
I don't know, because I'm not a real big fan of theirs. It's just that song I love.
Okay.
Thanks, George.
No problem. Here's Mobile in Coral Springs.
Hey, George. Yeah, same thing, only it was around 77 or 78. And when the song came out on the album, it was a different version than when it was released as a single, because it really took off. I don't know where it peaked on the charts, but they added the phrase, and the silicon chip inside her head gets switched to overload.
Okay.
That wasn't in the original version.
Alrighty.
You know, and it was the same thing. I mean, she took a rifle to school. I'm thinking it was in Texas somewhere.
All right.
And there was one other thing. Reflecting on the Nathaniel Brazil case and Barry Gruno, I'm thinking back, you know, when I was 13, 14 years old, was, 7th and 8th grade, and when the Democratic National Convention was going on in Chicago, and the police were beating the crap out of me.
You thought that I was dumb and stupid? Oh, my God.
Are we really playing this again?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll be a student. I play the tuba. Be on the honor roll. That ain't surprising, 'cause in Florida, school ain't no problem at all. This be my tuba. This be my gun. But tubas don't make you dead. I killed my teacher. It was an accident. I bust a cap in his head. Yo.
27 till 11, 560 WQAM. Why did I take my phone off of Do Not Disturb?
Because I transferred that call.
Hum a tune.
Yo.
Oh, see, you don't even have any music ready to fill the dead air? You could... Oh, thank you very much.
I do. I just don't like... I don't like
that Tears for Fears? Was that... Oh, that's Art of Noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care for the way that sounds. It's just...
Oh, everybody else I talk to loves it.
Well, I'll do it if you would like me to.
Well, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. So, yeah, Randy, because I listen to Rick and Suds in the morning when I remember to, because I like them. They're friends. And, yeah, I don't understand the show anymore, with all due respect, guys. I don't know what happened, but I blame Rick for everything. They used to be really fun and lighthearted and goofy and off the wall, and now it's just like... It's like they're trying to kill time between the commercial breaks, and but I still like them, and because I know them, and so I love them dearly. So every morning I make it a point to try to listen. I can't handle that Mike Wolf news. I can't handle people trying to be funny who are not.
He's a little funny. Come on, sometimes.
No, way little. Totally little funny. Like that.
Are we going to get in trouble that we're not listening to the first team?
I'm very upfront about the fact that I can't listen, because there's no reason for me to listen to a sports show. True. Not being interested in what professional athletes are doing in their jobs or in their private lives. Got nothing to do with me or my world. So anyway, so it's on. When I get out of here in the afternoon, I turn the car on, and there's Randy. And usually I put music in. Now I'll be quite honest, I was enjoying her show very much during the whole election thing. She was doing a lot of research. She had some heavy hitters on. She was passionate. I liked it a lot. I learned a lot listening to Randy during that election stuff. But then I couldn't handle it anymore because, I mean, I love you, but Jesus Christ, it's over with. You sound like a crybaby at this point. Rectum. Oh, I'm sorry. It's right next to this button. And then this thing, I don't know if she's on somebody's payroll. Did somebody get to her? Because I don't remember her being such a professional liberal when we worked together. A professional bleeding heart. But I was telling Joe during the break that she should be this kid's attorney. She's more passionate about defending this kid than his attorney is. What a crappy job he's doing, by the way. If there had been Oreo cookies in that can, this never would have happened. I didn't see... The wife said that. He said that. She's watched the whole thing. But that's actually one of his lines during the closing arguments. He was looking through his grandfather's possession to try to find a music box or something that he liked. And he found a can of Oreo cookies. And he said, "Ooh, I want a cookie." And if there had been cookies in that can instead of a gun, this never would have happened. What a moron. Randy should be up there defending this guy because... she's making more sense, but not to me. And she's talking about, what is it? Rehabilitation versus punishment. That we're supposed to be interested in rehabilitating people. Are we moving that? Is it official? I was just thinking that's a bad idea on Sunday.
Ooh, even better for you, Sunday.
That's a bad idea. Why not Saturday? Like it was originally. It's Johnny's fault.
Hey, I got to do one on Monday, so...
Oh, because you got to be somewhere else, so it's your fault again. You need an assistant. How come, what's her name never goes to appearances? Oh, I see. Never mind. Like I said, Sunday's good. How come the other people can't move their whatever it is that you have to be at? Talking to Miguel, by the way. The audience doesn't even know who I'm talking to. Come on, get on the air. Don't be a pussy. Talk. How come, what's going on Saturday that you got to move my appearance to Sunday?
I'm going to be with at Expressway, actually, by myself, though.
So why can't you do that on Sunday?
Because that's Todd Gregg, so, can't sell out the Gregg man.
What do you mean can't sell him out? Why can't his...
Well, because he was first, actually. It's first come, first serve.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Good thing I don't have any plans for the 3-day weekend.
Just shut up.
It's going to be lame. I'll just shut up, take the money. I'm taking my skateboard this time.
Miguel, I'll do the appearance that George doesn't want to do. All right, you're out. How about that? I'll take the 3 bills. And
why are you telling the audience how much we make on these things, man? They're going to hate us.
$3.
It's a scam. Okay. So anyway, punishment versus rehabilitation. And she keeps stressing that isn't the justice system supposed to be all about rehabilitating people instead of punishing people? I don't know where that started, that notion. Somebody's idea somewhere along the line that we should try to rehabilitate people instead of punishing them. And I keep scratching my head and thinking, why?
Why?
Do we want to rehabilitate people instead of punishing them? Do they deserve to be rehabilitated? Again, most of the rest of us very easily have no problem not hurting other people or stealing from them or anything else. We are spectacular at not hurting anybody, not shooting our teachers in the face. I had teachers I wanted shot in the face, that I would have reveled and thrown a party if they had been shot in the face. They certainly had it coming from where I was sitting. But I didn't shoot them in the face, nor did anyone else. See, we resisted. We did the right thing, all of the rest of us. Why do people deserve rehabilitation? Why do they automatically owe that? Where is it written that if you kill someone or do something evil, that you deserve a second chance, that you deserve to be nurtured, coddled, cajoled, whatever, comforted? Oh, you poor darling. You poor, scared, misguided, confused entity. Come over here and let me hold you. You haven't been held enough. Obviously, you're in pain. I have a different take on it. You're evil. You're scum. You suck. You deserve what you dished out. And it's supposed to be the Christians that are all obsessed with forgiveness, forgive and forget. Seems to me that they're the ones that want this kid fried, who are merciless. That's fine. I agree with you for what it's worth. And it's all the non-Christian, left-wing, bleeding heart liberals that want this kid coddled. Not just him, but everybody else in prison. This whole rehabilitation. Why do they deserve to be rehabilitated? How many free murders are we allowed? Can I have one? If I had known, if that was the message that I learned in school, if this had happened in my classroom, for example, one of my friends pulled out a gun and shot a teacher, and the lesson that I got was you can do this, and instead of being punished, you're going to be nurtured. They're going to seek to rehabilitate you. They're going to send me to a home. Do you realize that when I was 9 years old and really started seriously thinking and plotting with my siblings, how can we off Mom and get away with it? And we would sit here and try to figure it out. This was an important thing to us, not just to us, but to every member of the family. How can we off her and get away? Does anybody know how to cut brake cables? None of us had guns, but, we had butcher knives. I stole butcher knives. And
you really did this, or you're imagining?
No, I'm being dead honest, deadly honest.
Wow.
All of us would sit around and consult with each other And we would check in with each other periodically. Have you come up with a way that we can make this woman disappear? And if the message that, if I had known then what I know now, that I would, instead of going to jail and being anally raped by people bigger than me, which is what I was afraid was going to happen to me if I did this. If you had told me, no, you're going to go to a program. You're going into a program where people are going to talk to you about your issues. People who care about you are going to talk to you about your issues. And you're going to get fed food. And you're going to get a bed of your own. 13 to 11, 560 WQAM. We used to try to figure out ways, what can we do that will not get us into jail, but will get us into a foster home. Like one of these foster homes with 5 kids because they get so much money a month per kid. And everybody's saying, oh, but, you would have gotten no nurturing at a foster home. It would have been better than what I was getting at my home. Oh, you'll get bad food at a foster home. Would have been more and better food than I was getting at my home. The point I'm trying to make is I don't see rehabilitation as a deterrent to crime. And how can that be a deterrent to crime? Oh, I kill somebody, I get, all these people are going to start running, rallying around me, trying to figure out what my problem is. I don't care what your problem is. We've all got problems, asshole. We just deal with them. You're some sort of an animal who decided to deal with your problem that way, the violent way, which means you're an animal, a dangerous animal that we need to put away. And then we'll harvest your organs and we're going to put them into the bodies of good people. Good people who lived their whole lives not messing with other people, paid their bills, paid their taxes, and now their organs are failing. We're going to put one of your organs, or several of them, into their bodies because they deserve it more than you do. Asshole, violent, dangerous asshole. Oh, hi, Michelle. How you doing? Didn't mean you. So the poll question, because I don't think we've done it yet. By the way, here are the results of yesterday's poll question. We'll eventually get back to that. 599 votes so far. What should we do about the homeless? Give them food, shelter, and VOTEC for a limited time. 1 with 293, 48.9%. Send them to camp, 160. People said that. Nothing, 113. Give them food and shelter indefinitely. Only 33, 5.5%. of the people said that. So here's the age of accountability poll that we're going to do today.
Is that what we're doing?
I guess. Why? What do you want to do?
Oh, I have nothing.
Okay. What should the age of accountability be? And I figured to start at 6 years old because that's just... if you think that's too old, do you think it should be younger than that?
Oh, no.
I can't imagine anybody being more of a hard ass than me on this issue.
Yeah, at 6?
6.
You barely know you're walking around breathing air.
Right. So let's start it at 6, or you want to start it older than that? You want to start it at 8? We had this 9-year-old little kid that beat another kid to death with a baseball bat because he didn't like him. What should we do with that kid? Nurture him?
Let's split the difference and start it at 7.
Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
All the way up to 18.
All the way up to 18. You know what? That's not high enough for some people. Some people think it should be 19, 20. Some people think that, you don't know yourself and you don't know the difference between right and wrong until you're 25, which is, of course, bullcrap.
Can we make it 29? And if we do, then I got somewhere to go.
Oh. On your way, could you do a favor for me?
Sure.
Here's the address. Here's the picture. I got a picture on my digital camera here.
Okay.
So
7.
What should the age of accountability be? Accountability for whatever. Whatever. At what age do you know the difference between right and wrong? At what age don't you have any excuses anymore for hurting people and stealing their things and whatnot?
So what we'll do is we'll put in a parenthesis what you just said, because people clicking onto the internet later will have no idea what accountability means. So in parentheses...
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
Who doesn't know what that word means?
Yeah, but in context to what we're talking about.
We could phrase it differently. We could say, at what age should you be held accountable for your actions?
Very good.
Or am I still using that accountable word?
Yeah, but
I use a different word?
You've changed
dumb it down more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dumb it down as much as possible.
At what age should you be held responsible for your actions? It's as dumb as I can get.
I like it.
Okay, let's go with that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Here's a mobile in Coconut Creek.
Hey, George.
Hey.
So Boomtown Rats, the only other songs I could recall right now are Joey's on the Street Again.
No, that's not it.
Dave?
No.
That's the only other song I can think of.
Oh, it was on their greatest hits. I used to have it. Somebody stole it.
Rat Trap.
I lost it. It's not Rat Trap. Stop that.
And then regarding the lady who actually did the shooting, I don't think she was a student or a teacher at the school. She was just like a local crazy lady.
Well, we got more versions of this story than anything. That's great. Let's see how many
It's like
more.
an urban legend. Yeah.
Right.
House on Fire?
No.
And I think as a result of that shooting is where they passed the law where you can't have a gun within 1,000 feet or 1,000 yards of a school. And I haven't heard whether Nate's going to be charged with that. That's just icing on the cake, I guess, as far as they're concerned.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Here's a lady in Kendall. Hello.
George?
Yes?
Hi, it's the Bauhaus lady.
Hi, Bauhaus lady. How are you?
I've got two choices for you.
Okay.
First one is Banana Republic.
No.
Elephant's Graveyard is my second.
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. I'm going to have to get another greatest hits and just listen to them all. Maybe I don't know the title. Obviously, besides not being able to remember it.
Don't feel bad. I have that kind of memory myself, and it's funny.
I don't know why I can't remember anything anymore.
Well, I don't do pot, but maybe I should start.
I guess it can't hurt at this point, huh?
Well, I'm out of material, but it was nice talking to you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, George.
For sharing. Getting back to this whole punishment versus rehabilitation concept, besides not being into rehabilitation, what's wrong with revenge? What's wrong with institutionalized vengeance? And here we go again. The Christians are supposed to not be into vengeance. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. But they're the ones that are always shouting an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, even though when Jesus refers to an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, it's to overturn that Old Testament concept. When Jesus mentions that, he says, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I'm here to tell you, love your enemies, embrace those who would, hurt you, yada, yada, yada. I'm misquoting it, but nevertheless, that's the jizz of it. You've got some titles for me or something?
All the titles on the Boomtown Rats greatest hits that haven't already been mentioned.
Let's see if one of them is it.
Banana Republic.
No.
Skin on Skin.
No.
Up All Night.
No.
Never in a Million Years.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
How about that? And for the other people out there, there's also House on Fire and She's So Modern.
That's not bad. She's So Modern ain't bad. I could actually play both of those. Never in a Million Years. What a great song that I haven't heard in a million years. Eric! Hey, Eric! If you can find that song, could you email it to me?
Well, guess what?
I got to yell because he's in Orlando.
He's the one with the titles.
List?
Yeah.
Never in a Million Years. What a great song, and most people haven't heard that because I don't think it was released as a single.
I'm drawing a blank myself, and I consider myself Mr. 80s.
You might remember it if you hear it.
If I heard it.
Which I would love to hear it like right now. If somebody has it, email it in an MP3 format. Email it to eric@neilrogers.com, and
Eric will get it. He has it.
He has it?
I'm sure. I'm sure he's getting it right now.
All right.
That's what Eric says.
I'm excited.
Well, very good.
So anyway, I was talking about vengeance, and we had some lines ringing, but they hung up because we didn't get to them in time. That's all right.
They all wanted to talk about Boomtown late. They're like, I don't like Mondays is the song. Okay. 2 out of the 3 were that.
Yeah. No. That's their most famous song easily, and it is a good song, but nevertheless, what a good job Bob Geldof did in the Wall movie, though. I thought. Because who'd have thunk it? I mean, he didn't have to act much, I guess. He just kind of stumbled around. But anyway, what's wrong with institutionalized vengeance? Let's take the Timothy McVeigh thing for a moment. You know what? This is going to take a long time, so let's just take a break right now. Because I've been of negativity. If you're victimized, society, instead of rallying to support you, rallies to support the person that just traumatized you, that just took your husband away. What kind of a message does that send to you and everyone else? Society then isn't my friend. So I need to take the law into my own hands. I need to turn my wrath against the people that are abandoning me and supporting my assailant. What do we do to make the victim feel better? We can't do a lot. How can you replace a loved one? Like, how can we replace this woman's husband, this child's father, Barry Gruno? We can't replace it. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that if someone killed one of my loved ones, I would want to play a soccer match with their head. That would make me feel better. No, that's not going to bring back nothing's going to bring them back. You know what? F*** you. Of course, that's the most retarded thing that I've ever heard come out of human beings' mouths. It's not going to bring them back. No, Sherlock. But you know what it's going to do? It's going to make me feel a whole lot better to play soccer with their head. Me and my family members will play soccer with their head. Or I'll take their head and put it on a spike out in front of my house, so that when I drive home every day, I won't see the face of my loved one, but I'll see the face of my loved one's killer rotting away with a raven perched on top of it, pecking its eyes out. That will make me feel better. I thought about it. Make me feel a whole lot better. Closure, at the risk of overusing that word, and a sense of satisfaction that this is what happens to people who mess with us, the good people. A wonderful, warm, fuzzy sense of satisfaction that this motherfucker didn't get away with it. Got what they deserved. That's therapy. That's therapeutic. That takes away my rage. To an extent. For one thing, the person that I'm feeling my rage towards isn't around anymore. They're not sitting in a cell, or worse yet, in some sort of a mental hospital, getting fed happy pills. That would send me into a rage. That would cause me to think about getting a gun and taking my frustrations out on society who failed me. The never-ending cycle of violence will continue because society turned its back on me. They're punishing me by sucking the ass of my loved one's killer. Whose side is society on? This woman, I can't even imagine. This woman, this baby who will never know his father, her father. I don't know the gender of the child. It's like an 18-month-old child or something like that. I get choked up thinking about it. That here's a kid that will never know his father. Mommy's going to have to explain to this kid what happened to Daddy. And the next question out of the kid's mouth is, well, what happened to the trashy punk, the no-good piece of shit that blew my daddy away? Oh, he's in Bellevue somewhere, being fed happy pills, Prozac or something like that, something that releases endorphins in his brain, something that a lot of people spend good money on out on the street to get. He's getting them for free. He's getting them, and we're paying for it, as a matter of fact. Taxpayers are buying him a room, meals, and drugs. And he's getting therapy. Therapy is, a nurturing person gets to ask you questions about your pain, and then you get to share your pain, and you get patted on the back by digging deep inside yourself and finding that pain and sharing it. This is the punishment. What's wrong with punishment? What's wrong with revenge? The families of the people that Timothy McVeigh blew up. Don't you think they want to play soccer with his head? I think of that. Remember the Man Who Would Be King, Sean Connery movie? It's a good movie.
No, didn't see that.
Very good movie. But that's what they did with the former king, is that they would put up a new king, and then the former king, they would cut his head off, they would put his head in a bag and play soccer with his head. Kind of fun.
Yeah. If you really hated the guy.
Sure. Well, I tell you what, somebody takes a loved one away from me, I will hate them.
I've already determined, as we watch the news from early childhood, that's what we do at the dinner table, is watch current events and stuff, and I've determined that I will be vigilante guy. There's no way if someone takes my loved one, son, daughter, father, mother, away from me, that I'll be able to sit in the little courtroom and watch them, and maybe they'll get off and walk away and smile at me. Maybe they won't, because I won't be able to do that. And I've accepted that should that happen to me, that
and you'll go away and you'll have to pay for it.
Yes.
And I've come to the same conclusion.
It might be worth it. It probably
would be worth it. And this is the kind of mentality that this kind of system generates.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Shut up. The notion that we're going to rally around the criminal and abandon the victim is maddening to me. And I've come to the same conclusion.
That makes you just as bad as them.
Shut up. No, it's not just as bad as them. As a matter of fact, wiping evil from the world is a good thing.
If I hit the $400 million lottery, if in 10 years traveling the world, having a great time, became old, the next thing on the list would be Bruce Wayne type vigilantism.
Right.
Because what could be better than that? What could be more fulfilling than wiping evil off of the world? Off of the earth.
Exactly. And by the way, because we're civilized people, we shouldn't have vigilantism. The system should take care of this for us. Because people, if that's the way it used to be. Somebody wronged you, you would get your gun, and then Family Feud, the Hatfields and the McCoys. We have a system, supposedly, so that we don't have to take the law into our own hands. The law is going to provide justice for us. There's that word, justice. What an unusual word. What does that mean? Justice. It means what's just, what's right. And what's right is whatever the victims decide is right. That's what justice is. Ask the parents of the children who were blown up in Oklahoma City, what would make you feel better? Tim McVeigh's head on a spike in a public place where I could go and throw rocks at it. That would be justice. And
within reason, of course, like Don Corleone says in the first one, your daughter is still alive.
Right.
So he's not going to...
That's why we have rational discussions. That's why we have society. That's why we do it on a judicial level so that cooler heads can prevail and decide what's fair and what's right. And what's right for the victims of the Oklahoma City bombing is seeing Tim McVeigh's head on a spike, watching him die, watching the eyes sink into his head, knowing that he didn't get away with it, that he's not eating meals on the public dollar.
That he will never have another happy thought in his life.
Right.
Because he's having those right now.
Sure he is. Because you can have happy moments no matter what your situation is.
He gets an itch on his back.
He scratches
He's able to scratch it.
That's joy.
That's joy.
Think he's beaten off?
Joy. Yes, without a doubt.
That's happiness. That's joy right there. Highlight of my life sometimes. Miami Beach, hello.
Hello, George.
Yes.
As far as rehabilitation for murderers, this is just totally ridiculous to me because the concept of rehabilitation is tied in with parole. In other words, now we're going to put you back in society and you can be productive.
Where did that come from? Why rehabilitate?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Now, for a murderer, the only way I'm going to parole him, I don't care.
I don't want to make the distinction between a murderer and a thief.
But I do, so...
Well, I don't, so go away. Miami, hello.
Yeah, George.
Yes.
Why do y'all talk about some murders and some you don't talk about?
What are you talking about? I don't... Sir,
Yeah.
I don't talk about some and not others.
Well, that's what happened, like the Brazil thing.
No. I never talk about some murders and not others. I talk about all murders that are in the news. How's that?
Well, would you let me explain?
All right, because I know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to accuse me of only talking about black murderers, and you're wrong.
When they killed those two little girls.
Who?
The goon that murdered the two little girls.
The goon that murdered the two little girls. Ott?
Yeah. And put them up in his attic.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that story.
Well, it happened right here in Miami.
I don't know that story.
Sir, County.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What happened to him, the murderer?
Well, he got death sentence.
Well, he got the death sentence.
But did nobody mention it on your show?
You know what? That's probably why we didn't mention it, because he got what he deserved.
Y'all been talking about this for the last...
Because what we're talking about is that there's a whole group of people that want to nurture this child. That's what we're talking about. Did anybody rally, sir, this case that you're talking about that I never heard of? Were there a bunch of people rallying around him and making excuses for him?
Yeah, his family.
Yes, his family. Anybody else, like society? You can always expect the family to come to the aid of their family members. I think that's ridiculous, but nevertheless it happens.
What about the girl the other day that killed a baby? You guys don't mention that on
What's happening to her, sir? Is anybody rallying around her and supporting her?
Right, every day on the news.
No.
That's the news.
What do you mean every day on the news? I watch the news every day, and I haven't seen her since. I haven't seen her since I saw her hauled off.
Some things you just forget and don't mention it. You know, it just get out of there.
I don't see her on court TV. I don't see her on the news, and I think that you're very colorblind, sir. And I take great offense to the implication that we're making a special case out of this because this boy's black. If anybody's making a special case out of his race, it's
James now. Got to go and sell more crack cocaine. Crack cocaine, 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 crack cocaine.
11:19 on QAM. By the way, I hate Nancy Grace. Court TV,
Karen,
this bitch
for
right
an
here.
update from inside that courtroom. In the meantime, I want to...
She must have gone to the Barbara Walters School of Phony Sincerity. Melodrama. The jury is in deliberation right now. Just shut up, you hyperventilating, melodramatic, over-the-top bitch.
Listening to material that's absolutely crucial.
Take a Valium and calm the down, please. By the way, I don't know if you've been following all the recaps, and I haven't been watching the trial, but they got the recaps on every 5 minutes. Those of us in radio understand how long a second is, and 11 of them is an eternity. Those of us who have to do things by the second hand of the clock, 11 seconds, for those of you who don't know, because that's how long he had the gun in his hand while he was having the conversation. And then 4 seconds was how long he had the gun in his face before he pulled the trigger, for those of you who think that it was an accident. I make fun of that because the only people that I hear saying that it was an accident, besides Randy, have that kind of an accent. 4 seconds starting now. That's 4. And that's 11. So there was no snapshot. That was 11 from the 4. In other words, I counted off 4 and then I counted off 11. 11 seconds is an eternity. I can queue up 2 comedy bits and have a conversation with Joe in 11 seconds. That's a long-ass time to be thinking about what you're about to do. 4 seconds. Let me do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's 5, because I started the 1 when I said 1. That's how long he was holding the gun up in his face before he pulled the trigger. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was holding the gun up there, and according to these testimonies, he was holding the gun while he was saying, "Let me see these girls." And Barry Gruno said, "No."
No.
And he said... And I think that the one girl's dad had a very valid point. Mr. Gruno had no idea. He wasn't about to release his students to a mad gunman. In all likelihood, I agree with that assessment. In all likelihood, he took a bullet for those girls. These are girls that he was attracted to who had spurned his advancement. So I think that that's a valid observation. Who knows what he was planning on doing when he got those girls away from the scene? What do you think he was going to do? Show off the gun? Hey, look what I got. I'm going to go off this person like he was telling people the day before he was going to do?
Oh, I just used this to scare them so I could say goodbye to you. Goodbye.
Right, yeah. We don't know what he was going to do. Sane people who are all calm and collected, obviously he demonstrated how whacked he is because he whacked his teacher. So I don't feel any sympathy for this kid. He's an animal. If he's dangerous at 13, is he going to be safer at 20? Or at 18, if he's charged as juvenile, he gets out at 18, he's going to be a safer 18-year-old than he was at 13. A cold-blooded killer at 13, but now he's 18, bigger, stronger, smarter, and somehow we're supposed to believe safer to be out on the streets with us, the rest of us. Here's a mobile in Kendall. Hello.
Hey, George. How you doing?
All right, how are you?
Good. Without taking a side on this issue of the Nathan Brazil thing, it brings up a lot of very interesting points if you want to think about it. Like, for example, we all are entitled to a jury of our peers. You know, it would make you wonder, like, well, what does that mean? Like,
I hate the jury system. I've come to the conclusion
but the point is, that's the way the law is. He's entitled to a jury of his peers.
But I don't have to like it.
But as a 14-year-old kid having a jury of a bunch of people average age maybe 50, is that his peers?
Well, you have to define peer.
Exactly. What is the definition of peer? That's the first question that comes to mind. Then secondly, in a lot of issues...
By the
where
way,
a child,
since you raised the point, what do you think that a jury of his peers would conclude?
his age group.
How about that classroom? How about put the kids in the class who actually watched it going on? They don't have to listen to people's testimony. They all saw it. How about let the class decide?
That could be his peer group.
What do you think they would decide?
I don't know, but that's not my point. I'm just raising
I know
the
that's
issue.
not your point, but what do you think? You have an opinion. What do you think that the kids that saw that go on, what do you think that they would come up with?
Well,
Guilty?
number one, the lawyers get to basically choose the jury, and I'm not
I
sure they
understand that,
choose
but
the
why
kids
don't you
in
answer the
class.
question? What do you think that the kids who witnessed the shooting would conclude?
I guess they would conclude he was guilty, but
Of course they would.
But that's not the way the law works.
I know
as
that.
you know.
I know.
All right. So the second point is, in a lot of cases, when a child does something wrong, the parent is held partially culpable.
Uh-huh.
In this case, the parents aren't on the hook for anything, which raises an interesting point. Then the other day, you were saying, I believe, if I heard you correctly, I only catch the show when I'm in my truck, but you were saying that you were in agreement for certain things being adults only, etc. And then it raised... I thought so. You were
certain
talking about
things being adults only. What was I talking about?
Sexually based clubs, bars.
Well, the point I'm
places.
making is that if society in general thinks certain things should be adults only, then why is it that they don't want kids exposed to certain things? Society must feel that it's going to have a negative impact on the kid. So if society says things should be adults only, but the kids have access to it, and the very things that society is afraid are going to happen do in fact happen by the kid, is the kid totally responsible?
No, it's society's fault. Let's put them in jail. Here we go back at that. Here's a lady in Fort Myers. I'm getting a headache from that.
Hey, George.
Hi.
Hi. Two things. You were talking about an eye for an eye, and I started to think that, okay, if it's an eye for an eye, then wouldn't that mean, where would you think that Tim McVeigh would suffer the most? Lifetime in jail, execution, or to take members of his family and blow them up with a bomb?
Right. Well, obviously we can't do that because we don't know about his family, and we can't blame his family for him and what he did.
Understandable.
You might like to. What we need to do is ask the victims what would they like, what would make them feel better. Maybe, having him busting rocks for the rest of his life in a work farm. If that's what would make them feel better, then we as society should try to accommodate them.
Yeah, it's such a difficult issue. It really is because, in some cases, there is no punishment that is great enough. Sometimes I think the death penalty is like an easy way out.
Sometimes, yeah.
So it's a difficult question. About rehabilitation, the thing that people must remember about rehabilitation is that the only people...
Boy, we're prohibited. Batteries sold separately.
27 till 12, 560 QAM. Here are the up-to-date results of the Age of Accountability poll. At what age should you be held responsible for your actions? 13 is winning. By the way, this keeps changing. The lead keeps changing. 13 is winning with 11, then 16 and 12 are tied with 9. Age 10 has 7 votes. Age 18 has 3 votes. It's all over the place. 15 has 3 votes. 8 has 2 votes. 19 has 1. We did 19?
Yeah, I did 19.
Okay.
Just because you said some people would want it even older, so I gave them an
So we
option.
did 19, and then there are no votes for 9, 11, and 17, which is funny to me. Oh, or 14. I had to get all the way down. So I think that's funny. Just the number that people come up with. I can understand that the 6 votes for 7 because that's the lowest entry we had. But still 11 votes for the age 13, like when you become a teenager. When you have that word teen. What do you think? Not a bad system?
It's tough stuff.
I always thought about that we should have 3 levels of, responsibility / freedom. Childhood, adolescence, which is your teenage years, and then adulthood. Childhood up to 12, adolescence 13 through 19, where you have a level of responsibility, and then 20 plus is You got it all. You got all freedoms and all responsibilities.
Well, the way I would work it is a sliding scale as far as responsibility. Like during childhood, 20% child, 80% parents.
Okay.
Because a small child, you could tell them to do anything, and
sure,
they're going to listen to you. You're the dad.
Right, exactly.
Then as a teenager, maybe 50-50, 60-40, something like that. And then when you become adult, 100% you.
It's your ass. It's all you. All right.
A 7-year-old kid goes out and murders someone, it's the parents. They did something wrong.
What do you think the 9-year-old who beat the other kid with a baseball bat? What happened? What happened there? What went wrong here?
Mommy and Daddy didn't teach the kid that baseball bats will hurt.
No argument from me. Mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
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 Hey George, how you doing?
All right. How are you?
Yeah, man. I've been listening to your show this morning. Little tidbits of it, and I enjoyed the discussion, although it's one-sided.
Yeah, of
I know
course.
you have
My
to cater to your audience, So I wanted to bring your attention to an earlier caller who tried to point out the hypocrisy with this case and other cases similar to it involving Caucasian teens. And you mentioned that this case was on TV.
Right now. I'm watching it right now. Here.
The lock restart.
Yeah.
I hear you. But why is it that you think that other cases aren't on court TV involving Caucasian teens doing pretty much the same thing?
Pretty much the same thing. Well, for example, the only same thing that I can think of is the Boulder, the Colorado thing. Dylan and Klebold, Columbine High School, Dylan and Klebold, they shot themselves. So there's nothing.
What about
nothing
Kid Kinkle and all those other kids who ran up in schools and murdered more than one person?
See, what's happening is I don't hear a lot of people making apologies for them and making excuses for them. You see, and first of all, here's a couple things. Number one, this is local. This is going on down here, West Palm, right up the road. Number two, it's all over the newspapers. It's all over the TV. So in talk radio, we talk about whatever's going on there. You tell me why. Because everybody's running to the defense of this kid. That's why, and it's creating controversy. What to do about this kid? I didn't hear any controversy surrounding what's going to be going on with those other teenagers. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's saying, put them away, fry them, and nobody and no groups are rallying around them trying to make excuses for them that I heard.
I should have prefaced my statement by saying I do think that he's guilty of sin. Any kid that has the audacity to come up in school with a gun and shoot anyone should be sent to jail for life, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, I went to Miami Norland Senior High School, which is right down the street from your station, right?
Right.
When I went there, I graduated in 1995. Every single year I was in school there was a shooting. Right? And this is local. And it wasn't in the news, and it wasn't in the papers. You know why? Because they were blacks killing blacks. Now blacks are starting to kill whites, and it's a big controversy. Like, where did this start to happen all of a sudden? This has been happening for years. Kids have been going to school.
I'll give you that.
They never killed a teacher. The teacher is the important thing. If this was a black teacher, it would still be in the news. The teacher, an authority figure.
But I understand this guy's point because he's right. I mean, we have black-on-black crime every day. The media doesn't pick up on it because they just don't care. It's a non-issue to a lot of people. That's sad, but that's the reality of it. I just saw a little blurb in the paper. I forget where it was. We had a stabbing over here. And where was it? Edison?
I'm not even really sure.
It was, I think it was over here, Edison, whatever, the North Miami. Mostly dark school. And a black kid or girl stabbed another black kid. And it just got a little blurb in the paper, and I picked up on it because the assailant was like 21, and the person that got stabbed was like 20.
Oh, okay.
What are they doing in high school?
Right.
So you're right. There's an insensitivity when it comes to black-on-black crime, but what do you want me to say about that? Sorry, I got nothing to do with that.
I understand that, and another thing I wanted to point out was this apologetic tone that you're getting from a lot of African American is something we learned from you guys. You guys,
good.
I mean,
you learned well.
Go ahead. Hello,
Toby. Say your name's Toby. Absolutely right. You learned that from us. Where else were you going to learn it from? Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
George.
Yes.
How are you?
All right. How are you?
Two things. I question judging a 13-year-old as an adult. I'm not going to kick the dead horse and say why, but the thing about it that's really getting on my nerves with this kid, and it kind of throws rehabilitation out the window, I think, I'm not trying to be an expert, is that this kid is in complete denial. He did it on purpose. He's lying and saying it was an accident. If he faced up to it and said, yeah, I was mad, I did it on purpose, I think he would be getting maybe more of a credibility of getting some rehabilitation, because you can't go to rehabilitation in denial of what you did.
Okay, but understandably, you can't really expect that he was going to say, yeah, I shot this guy. Now, I mean, he's saying a lot of things that are ridiculous on the face of it, like it was an accident, and this whole thing where it was his favorite teacher. Yeah, right. Boy, did they just pull that out of their ass or what? This is my favorite teacher. That sounds good. That's going to sound good on the stand if I say it was my favorite teacher.
Yeah, you know, he's just lying about what happened, and that gets on my
But how
nerves.
often does that happen? We don't have the kind of justice system that even encourages people to do that.
I know.
How often does that happen where people take responsibility for their own actions and say, yeah, you know what, I was pissed off, I blew the guy away?
Right. Also, another thing, you got to be 18 to own a handgun, right?
I don't know.
I think that's
I don't know what the
it
Florida law is.
But let's just
In Montana, you have to be 14.
Let's put it this way: you're definitely a minor if you're 13 for a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say this kid went on the street and he bought a handgun from a guy. He bought a stolen handgun on the street for $100.
Yeah.
The 13-year-old takes the gun and he shoots and kills somebody, and they catch him for it. They say, okay, we're going to try you as an adult. Now, they find out who the guy was who sold him the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Can they try that guy?
Coverage starts with the Crow at 6 on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Floridianern, toll wie Schmutz.
Take you now to Greenwich, Connecticut, and the home of Kathy Lee and Frank Gifford.
Let's go, Frank. Oh, here we go.
Not again, Kathy.
Get up off your feet.
Kathy.
Get up off your feet.
Kathy.
Come on, I want to ride the pony. Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go.
Oh, God.
Let's go.
No.
Shine,
No.
yeah.
Not again.
Yeah.
I got chafing.
What?
No, I can't.
After all you did to me, you better get up off your ass and get in the bedroom.
Oh, yes, dear. Yes,
Here we
dear.
go again. Yeah, I'm going to get you some. Yeah.
Yes, dear. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Move your leg.
I'm hitting it.
Move your leg.
I'm
Move your
ready to
leg.
hit.
Move your leg.
Move my leg.
Move your leg a little bit to the left.
That's it. Now I'm hitting it.
Move your hand. Move your hand
I
up.
love this.
Move your hand. No, your hand up. Move it up a little more. More higher.
All right.
Higher.
There.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Your toes. Your toes.
What?
Do that with your toes.
All right. Here's the toe.
No, the other foot. The other foot.
Oh, man. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's it.
Stop it. Stop. I don't want to go yet.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
What?
Stop talking. Don't say another word.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on Broadway. And he got you, gun. All right, you ready?
Ready for what?
Let's go again.
Oh, for the love of God, I'm 80 years old.
Oh, sorry if we're just too busy sitting here laughing. No, that's one of those, no matter how many times you hear it, it's still good, like the bagpipes.
Who are those guys?
Those are the same guys that do the bagpipes.
No, I know they do all kinds
I don't know. It's on the disc somewhere here. I don't know.
The guy who does Kathy Lee's
They're
voice
great, yes.
Doesn't even disguise.
Also, the John Rocker Psychiatry, that's them also. I don't know where they are. Like to kidnap them and put them in a little room like Rumpelstiltskin, you know, and have Boca Brian force them to crank out comedy bits. 12 till 12, I should say, on QAM. Don't forget to join Joe Castello this Saturday from noon to 2 at BJ's Wholesale Club in Pembroke Pines. Joe, Miguel, and one of the beautiful QAM cuties will be at 13700 Pines Boulevard with prizes. And food, and great food from Atlantic City Subs. That's this Saturday, noon till 2, BJ's Wholesale Club, 13700 Pines Boulevard, way out west in the swamp. Stop by, say hi, oogle the girl, you know the routine. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
George.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoy your show. I hope someday you get your own.
Me too.
I haven't heard too much talk about Gruno's family and
almost none.
His kids, his children. You know, what it's like for them. I don't hear too many bleeding hearts for them.
Right.
I unfortunately lost an aunt and an uncle in a car accident many years ago, but I do remember how, still to this day, the finality of it and the fact that, you know, one day they're here, the next they're gone, is very hard to rationalize. So I can't imagine what it would be like when these people have to face another birthday or holiday and know that this kid, who I really think is going to get off. I don't think he's going to do much time.
I tend to agree with you. As far as I know, the jury actually has the option of convicting him of different things, like first or second or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, my gut feeling, because it seems like our society we just don't care. We just don't and say, well, you know, there must be a reason that he did it, so we're going to let him off. And it just doesn't seem like we care about who gets killed or what happens to the victims anymore.
Right.
We always have a reason to rationalize why the person did it. That's why it's happening so often.
And again, they don't think about, what about the message that it's sending to the rest of us, the kids in that class, all of the kids in that school, all of the kids in school everywhere. If the message that we send to them is, blow your teacher away, it's a good way to get help for your problems.
That's exactly right, you know, and the people that say fry him, I kind of have to agree with that, because how else are we going to stop it?
Right. I agree. Public display.
Thanks.
You bet.
I enjoy your show.
I enjoy your show, too. Here's Liberty City. Hello.
George.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Listen,
how are you?
I'm going to say something that might seem a little contrary to what you've been saying, but try to get the gist of what I'm saying, okay?
I'll try.
I perfectly agree that he should be sentenced according to adult guidelines and all that. But the thing is that aren't we sort of looking aside or putting aside the fact that this society is so insane with violence?
Yeah.
Not to rationalize or justify him, but shouldn't we be taking a good look at that too? Because
sure, but sir, let me ask you something. At what point in human history have we not been violent? Was it when we were cavemen that we were nice to each other? Was it when the Roman legions were conquering the world and destroying villages and killing people? Was it when the Goths and the Visigoths were swarming through Europe, killing people? At what point in human history were we non-violent?
At no point, but I think it didn't go as young with the kids today.
Why do you say that? Why would you say that? I open up a National Geographic and I see 12-year-old Indonesian kids with AK-47s because they're still fighting a war over there.
Leading armies.
Leading armies, exactly. I saw that Joe obviously saw the same issue.
Right, but here it's more
in
like
human history. In England, they used to hang children for stealing an apple. If a peasant child stole an apple off an apple cart, they would hang this starving child.
But isn't that a far cry from kids walking into schools with AK-47s?
What I'm saying is, at what point we've always had violence, we've always had violent people, and we've always sought to deal with them one way or another. I don't see the difference between now and then. The only difference between us now and those people then is that we've got more technology now. But humans are still the same as they ever were. We're still violent. Children are still doing aberrant things. They always have.
Well, I think these video games and stuff.
Oh yeah, let's get rid of the video games.
No. I'm just saying they're making the video game producers are making a mint off of these kids.
Sir.
You know.
Sir.
Okay.
Before we had video games, were kids all nice and safe, and they never did anything bad?
Well, no.
You know, did they have video games during the Crusades and the Spanish Inquisition when the church was torturing people to death for believing in something else? What was their excuse? Were they raised with violent television and video games? They were raised on the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
They were, as a matter of fact, the Bible was the material, the catalyst for what they were doing. During the Salem, in this country, during the Salem witch trials, when we hung people for witchcraft, were they really witches, sir?
No, but
no, they weren't. But because they were taking the Bible literally, they put people to death because of what the Bible said to do with witches. So shouldn't we get rid of the Bible? Because I think that's a very negative influence on our society. It causes people to kill other people.
But isn't it strange how kids today are killing for really no reason?
When was it different? When was it different, sir?
Well, you're saying that there was at least some ostensible cause.
You know what we have now? We have mass media now. If something happens on the other side of the world, right now, we'll know about it within an hour. That's the only thing that's different now than then, is all kinds of crazy, barbaric things were always happening. And yes, children and teenagers were part of what was going on and doing crazy, barbaric, aberrant things. It's just that we weren't really good at finding out about it, because if it happened on the other side of the mountain, the only people that knew about it were the people that lived on the other side of the mountain.
So you think this kind of violence will always exist, and there's nothing we can do?
I hope that we'll take steps as a society to become a less and less violent culture. But, so I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Punishing the guilty is the only way to make it stop.
That's a good idea. Yeah, exactly. We go back to what I said yesterday. Let's try the revolutionary new concept of separating the good people from the bad people permanently. Not, you get to go into the refrigerator for a little while and then come back at us. After you're all rested and better educated, and after you've worked out with some weights on our money, by the way. We're going to let you back out. Now you're better than you were before. Yeah, a better criminal. Mobile and Dania, hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
All right, how are you?
Good, thanks. First of all, let me say I admire your patience in dealing with somebody like that who obviously is clueless.
Well, I want to give people the opportunity to state their point of view.
Well, like I say, I admire your patience. The problem here is that our system of what passes for justice is of the lawyers, by the lawyers, and for the lawyers. It has nothing to do with what the right outcome should be. It has to do with what is going to be the most lucrative outcome for the attorneys involved. And this includes the judges, because without this perverse system of justice that we have, the judges would actually have to go out and work for a living.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Are you familiar with the origin of the term defamation?
No.
Okay.
Defame, to take someone's fame away, to do the opposite?
No, not defamation, decimation.
Oh, no.
Okay,
the
origin of the term decimation, Roman generals, when faced with a difficult fight, would take their troops and line them up and count off their men. And every 10th man, the other soldiers would have to kill him. And decimate, meaning 10 in
very good.
In Latin. This is what we need to do.
What's up, Dad?
12:02 on QAM. I was going to ask you to call Eric, but I'll just say it because he might be listening. I can't find the Ted Kaczynski song in this machine here, and I could have sworn that I put it in. Ted Kaczynski, King of the Wild Frontiers. Since we're talking about killers and murderers and crazy people and all of these things.
So you want to know which best of Neil's CDs?
It's got to be on one of the best of Neil's.
And since Eric knows all.
Eric, he knows all. He knows everything.
All right.
He's a bottomless pit of knowledge.
He's on the clock.
Someone faxed, thank you very much for this, by the way. Frank in Fort Lauderdale, I guess. The possible verdicts that the jury could come back with. 9-woman, 3-man Palm Beach County jury continues deliberations. Yet 6 charges. Convicted of 1 of 6 charges. This is, see, I hate the jury system, and I hate this kind of a system also. Do you know what I mean? Like leaving what he did something. The trial should be about what he did, not what we're going to call it. You know what I mean? So anyway, first-degree murder with a firearm. The charge carries mandatory life sentence without parole. Second-degree murder with a firearm. The charge carries a sentence of 22 years to life in prison. Third-degree murder with a firearm under the state sentencing guidelines. The charge carries up to 15 years in prison. Manslaughter with a firearm. The charge carries up to 15 years in prison. Aggravated battery with a firearm. Charge carries up to 15 years in prison. Aggravated assault with a firearm. The charge carries up to 5 years in prison. And then it goes into the finer details of what's what. And I think the guy that called earlier is correct. I think this jury's going to come, after deliberating for a long time, and I don't believe that we're going to get an answer today, they're going to come up with some sort of a compromise, which I hate. Here's a mobile in West Palm. Hello.
Hey, George.
Hey.
Just to change the subject real quick.
Absolutely, whatever you want.
The homeless people have hit West Palm Beach, man.
Oh, bless you. You know what? Misery loves company, sir. If anyone can quash this organization, the snooty blue hairs of West Palm can do it.
The funny thing about it is now you got a homeless voice bum and a regular bum on every street corner, and they're like battling for turf ground. It's hilarious.
Well, the good news is going to be the orange amoeba is going to assimilate the non-Cossack bums. I've seen it happen locally, and you're going to see it over there too.
Oh,
Used to
great.
have independent bums. Apparently, there's more. These organized bums will make more money for themselves than the disorganized bums. So you're going to see nothing but orange shirts inside of 2 weeks' time.
Oh no.
Get out there.
I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you.
I got to deal with it too.
Thank you. I feel much better now.
All right.
Knowing that it isn't just happening to my wonderful little town of Hollywood. Medley, hello.
George, there's been 2 incidents related as far as one African-American, being a juvenile, getting ready for what could be a life sentence, and now another African-American was dead because 8 officers tried to apprehend him.
Well, they did apprehend him.
Well, but he died. So
he's not an African-American, he's a Haitian.
Okay.
He was a Haitian.
Do you think that might create some type of problem in the society?
Maybe.
As far as riots, maybe? Or you think that they're over that?
I don't know. It depends on what comes of it. It depends on how, they have to investigate why the guy died. There's a lot of things that we don't know because we weren't there. So somebody's going to have to, like a coroner, and there's going to have to be an autopsy, and we need to find out why this guy died.
What about bringing back the Ku Klux Klan?
In other words, he ran away. Bringing back the what?
Ku Klux Klan.
Okay. You were right the first time. The Ku Klux Klan is what he said. Here's a lady in a mobile in Coral Springs.
Hey, George, how are you doing?
Great, how are you?
Good. Okay, well, I have tons of things to say. First of all,
sure. Take your time.
With that thing that guy was talking about with how young the people are nowadays.
Yeah, it's not nowadays.
Yeah, well, I mean, does he realize, though, that years and years and years ago, that people died a lot younger?
Right.
I mean, now people were like 20 when they were dying, so of course they were younger.
And people were, we had child labor in this country.
Exactly.
We had child labor on the farms in the old country, whatever old country we happened to come from. Everybody was considered to be, work age as soon as they could walk, practically.
Right. And also, I have like 3 people.
And by the way, people were getting married at 14 and 15 and everything. Everything was younger then. It's not a new thing. And you want to do what now?
And also, a couple more things. But the other thing, I totally agree with you, the technology. I mean, I'm 26, and I could see a huge difference between me and my 13-year-old niece. And the big difference is technology, the fact that the information that is amazing that they have a hold of.
We know everything now. We have a news organization in every pissant little country in the world. I read the story yesterday about the monkey man in India. We never would have gotten that story before electronic medium. Somebody faxed it to me, no less. Or somebody faxed it to Adam, and he brought it in to me.
Right. And also, the big thing with the kid is, a couple things with that is, one of them is, did you get to watch any of it at all when he was on the stand?
Yeah, well, they kept showing the highlights over and over again.
Well, the thing that I kind of noticed, because I watched basically the whole thing of him talking, was when his lawyer was talking to him, and I'm sure you heard this, that he fed him all the questions and gave him all the answers, basically.
Sure.
But when he was asking him how he found it, he said, it was an Oreo thing. I went to go look for cookies, and I found this. And he was like, why did you take it? And his whole reason for it was the fact that he, every summer, would go to his aunts and uncles and the Carolines, wherever it was, and they would shoot. Well, first of all, he didn't remember any of their names, and if you're going up there every summer, first of all, second of all, then they asked him when he went home. And also he didn't tell anybody, and they said why, and he said, well, because they would be upset. Well, first of all, he knew at that point it was wrong. Second of all, when he went home the day that, they sent him home, he went and he picked up the gun, and they said why. He said, I don't know, I just wanted to. That's not enough reason.
Yeah. I just wanted to. That's like the Bible's, answer for creation, because God said so.
Yeah. So,
even though he was telling people the day before that, be watching for me because I'm going to make a, make a big scene.
Right.
I'm going to make a splash.
Right, and when he said that, I was like, oh, because, you know, maybe if you have a good reason, you know, there's no good reason, just, because I wanted to have it. If the whole reason for taking it in the first place was for the summer,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Then that doesn't make sense. And also, you know, I think with people in jail and stuff like that, I think you need to bring back Alcatraz and take all the bad people and take them to, like, Australia and throw away the lock, and that is it.
Okay.
Have a great day, George.
You too. That's
sure the Australians will love that.
Yeah. Hey,
here's all the bad people.
Boy, we got enough problems. We got enough issues over here. Oh, I already queued something else up because I had the perfect, of course. Why can't I find this thing? Oh, here we go.
A dingo ate my baby.
Yeah, they have all those problems over there all the time. But we have an island off the coast somewhere that's just, you know, scrubby. Gotta be. Like, I guess Catalina Island is kind of a sizable island off the California coast, but it's, I reckon, nice. Relatively nice.
What about those islands in the South Pacific where we tested nuclear weapons and now they're uninhabitable because of the radiation?
Okay, or like Easter Island, which is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we don't want to give them the blue-footed boobies, though.
Or Aleutian Islands in Alaska. The chain of islands there?
Right.
Yeah, no, the boobies are gone. We'll ship in new boobies.
Oh.
Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes.
Hey, George.
Howdy.
How you doing?
Fine.
2 points. Number one, we're all sitting and fighting or discussing this Nate Brazil case.
Yeah.
Because we decided to try him like an adult, which I happen to agree with. Had we decided to try him like a child, we wouldn't be discussing his prison term. But since he's being tried like an adult, he should face the punishment.
By the way, if we had decided to try him as a child, you better believe that we'd be discussing it because a lot of people like myself would be outraged.
Once we've decided to try him like an adult, then he should face the punishment that an adult's going to face.
Right.
And if we don't, and if we continue to fit into young kids, you'll have these 12 and 13-year-old kids shooting everywhere and shooting everybody.
Every day.
Number one. Number two is you were talking about institutional revenge. Timothy McVeigh is a tremendous example.
Right. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Well, no, let me finish.
Okay.
I'm very pro capital punishment. Timothy McVeigh, he wants to die. He says, I don't want to sit in jail. I want to die.
No, I think he's having second thoughts right now.
Well,
I think that was just a big, brave speech when he knew that there was nothing that he was going to be able to do about it.
We have to stop. We keep talking about constitutional rights, humanitarian rights. Once someone has done a heinous crime, they've lost their rights.
Right.
They've gone against what society...
We afford rights to people because we don't know. Because remember, everyone's guilt is in question until they've been convicted. But once they are convicted, then that's it. Your rights are gone. You forfeited.
We're going to make mistakes in society. I mean, life is all based on statistics. So, yeah, they say, well, what if someone is innocent? Those mistakes we're going to make.
That's why we're supposed to have a good justice system dedicated to finding out the truth. Not a high school debate between two lawyers, which is what it amounts to, is who can put on the best show for a bunch of untrained goofballs called the jury. That's not a basis for a justice system. It needs to be a deep and thorough investigation of the truth and an exercise in getting to...
Frontier.
What is it? 1218, 560 WQAM. While we went into the break, we had a whole bunch of calls on the board, but now we just have one in Hialeah, and it's probably a crank, according to Joe. 567-0560 in Dade and Broward counties, pound 560 on Verizon Wireless, 877-785-6345 on the toll-free line. Let's get rid of this call, and then I can play some of that Jim White I was talking about yesterday.
Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux Klan. That's funny. Hello?
Yeah, boy, that was funny. QAM, hello.
Hey, I'm sorry, I got disconnected.
Okay, what happened?
I don't know.
All right, let's try it again. Hello?
Yeah, George.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Nothing, just killing a radio show.
I hear you.
Just killing it. Killing it dead.
Hey, listen, you need to see a doc, man. You're sick.
I need to do what?
See a doctor. A physician?
I see a doctor?
Yeah. You gave me a rash last night. You dick.
All right, here we go again. They waited till 1:30 yesterday. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile, Miami.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Hey, I even hate to bring this up, but I mean, get into a capital punishment discussion, but
whatever.
You don't give a crap about the fact that innocent people are being killed?
Of course I do. That's a different issue.
Well, that's it. No, how can it be a different issue?
Why are you getting all squirrely?
No, I'm not getting squirrely, but it's not a different issue. People are being convicted wrongly, proven by DNA evidence all the time that are being sentenced to death that aren't guilty. So why would you want to support something that was doing that?
It's a different issue because what we need to do is we need to have a good justice system. I was just talking about
talk about reality.
See, no, I'm going to hang up on your squirrely, yelling, can't have a conversation ass. Wasn't I calm and collected, letting him talk? And every time I try to say something, he went all, wiggy on me.
He doesn't want to have
a rational discussion. We need a good justice system, like I just got done saying before the last break, dedicated to finding out the reality of what happened as opposed to just two different sides seeing who can do the best job. Like the Lindbergh baby, railroading people through. That's incredibly wrong. I think it's only slightly less wrong to lock people up for a majority of their life and then let them out with nothing but a pat on the ass and $10, which is what they get if their conviction is ever overturned. And now you've got a real pissed off person out on the street that feels like society just stuck it to them. And they've got nothing for all the years that they've spent in prison, and they're real pissed off. I know I would be. Is there any doubt that Tim McVeigh blew up that building? Of course not. He admitted it. Is there any doubt that Nathaniel Brazil blew that teacher away? Of course not. He admitted it. We need to have a justice system dedicated to finding out the truth and then dealing with people appropriately once we do. I don't know what's worse, wasting your life rotting away in prison or getting executed. I guess getting executed is worse because at some point if they find out that you didn't do it, they can let you out. Oh, my bad. Off you go. But that is a separate issue. We need to have good trials, a good justice system. That's different. It's a trial. Figuring out whether somebody actually did something or not. Finding out whether or not they're guilty. And then we punish them appropriately. But because we have a crappy justice system, therefore, let's not punish anybody. That sounds like a good idea. Because our justice system is full of crap, because it's just a high school debate between two lawyers, where with loophole here and plea bargain there and procedural impropriety over here and stacking the deck with the jury over there and all of these elements that have nothing to do with the facts at hand. Did this person kill that person or didn't they? Did they rob that bank or didn't they? And you've got all these other things that have nothing to do with that come into play. So therefore, because our justice system is screwed up and worthless practically, let's just not punish anybody. As a matter of fact, we could save a whole lot of money by just doing away with the justice system because, like, according to that last caller, let's just not kill anybody because we might be killing the wrong person. Well, we might be putting the wrong person in prison where they're going to be anally raped every day of their life for the next 50 years or whatever. We might make the wrong person do this. We might make the wrong person do that. So therefore, let's just save all of the money on all of the prisons and all of the trials and all of the judges and the whole thing. Think of all the savings that we'll have. Let's just and every man for himself. Take the law into your own hands. Let's just do that because we might put the wrong person in jail or we might put the wrong person to death. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, George. How are you doing today?
Great, sir. How are you?
Fine. I just wanted to comment on your issue about how you feel murderers should be taken away.
Not murderers,
my mother
criminals.
happens to be
a
murderer.
Criminals taken away.
Somebody tried to rape her, and she happened to have a knife handy, and she stabbed him in the heart.
That's not a murderer. That's not murder.
Well, under your terms.
No, it is not. Why would you say that? I never said that people who defend themselves are murderers. Why would you put words in my mouth like that, lying asshole? Why would you put words in my mouth like that?
Not putting words in your mouth.
You are. I never said any such thing or anything like it.
You said someone that murdered. She was convicted.
She's not a murderer.
Crime.
I never said your mother was a murderer. When did I say your mother was a murderer?
I didn't say you said my mother.
You did say that I said. You said that I said that, asshole. At what point did I say that people defending their lives from an assailant? I know.
Why would he?
Ojanum provocatorum goyim. Made-up story. Made-up story, just trying to get my goat. Sorry, it worked for a
Even
second
if it's
there.
true, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It has nothing to do with this discussion. People defending themselves.
Out,
right.
8, 9, 10.
Miami Springs, hello.
Adolf Hitler.
Miami, hello. That's the same Julio faggot. Miami Springs, hello. I'm sorry, just Miami. Regular old Miami.
I'll get him next time.
Hello?
Hello, here's another one.
Hello, George?
Yes?
I just called. I'm a little nervous. The first time caller,
But
long-time
nevertheless,
listener.
yes.
Okay. I'd like to, recap this. This guy, Brazil, was suspended, was sent home from school because he was throwing water balloons.
Yes.
How old is your daughter, George?
12.
Let's say she was throwing water balloons, and the school sent her home all by herself. They don't know if parents are home. They don't know if anyone is at home.
By the way, that's another issue for another day. Let's discuss the practice of school sending kids home. When did that start?
Okay, since you don't want to discuss...
That's wrong.
But I think that the center of this whole controversy, the center of it is they're sending home a 13-year-old unsupervised.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's wrong. But by the way, I was coming home. I was a latchkey kid. From the time I was 8 years old, I was walking home from school alone, letting myself in the house. There was nobody else getting home until the evening, until after dark.
Okay, but this is
I
the
still
middle
never
of the
shot
day.
anybody.
Okay, all right, George. But anyway, I think that's an issue that should be looked at.
Right. I agree. I agree. But that's still no excuse for him murdering anybody.
Okay, I agree. Okay, this thing about putting people on the island because they committed some act against society.
Yeah.
Using your guidelines, Neil would have been on that island right now.
Why?
Because of something he did. I remember.
He didn't do anything.
Huh?
He's never done anything. No.
I remember seeing his number plastered all over the Miami Herald. The number
do you remember what for? For a trumped up charge?
Exactly, I remember.
Sir, will you
him pleading no contest.
Let me tell you something. F off. To compare what the trumped up charge that they railroaded the old man with to murder, you're a ridiculous person. You're ridiculous to the point of bad science fiction. As if what Neil was accused of and what Pee Wee Herman did was in the same ballpark. Like people should be going to jail for doing something. That's what the place is there for. And it's not even. I know. People are bringing the most ridiculous elements into play.
You realize, of course, and I know you do, and since you're there,
sucked in.
You can't do like I do and get off.
I know, because you're an observer.
Everything that is wrong is suddenly, like, he's right.
Yeah, he's turning it around on Neil.
Just sent the kid out into the street, right. He should have stayed in the office or whatever.
It's everybody else's fault.
What does that have to do with this?
Exactly.
Nothing.
I was roaming the streets, like I said, from the age of 8 plus. No parental supervision until Mommy got home, whenever the hell she got home.
And as far as what he says about Neil...
Oh, please.
Just right there, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I just want to be the voice of sanity.
The voice of sanity. I know. I get stuck in the vein it is. Do you see the matching one on the other side?
I see it.
I got a pair right here, look. Kendall, hello. 27 till 1, 560 WQAM. Jason Miller, dead at 62, playwright and actor. I didn't know he was a playwright, but apparently he was. Father Damien Karras in the horror movie The Exorcist. I was saving this. I got this yesterday, and I was saving it for Neil because I knew that he'd want to talk about it today and play things like...
Dime, why you do this to me?
Why you do this to me? What is it?
Please, Dime. I'm afraid.
Me too. So,
did you see the...
Yeah, I did.
The new version? With the creepy faces?
The creepy faces didn't do much for me. Her coming down the stairs backwards did.
See, that didn't do anything.
Raise the hackles on my neck.
That was like, big deal.
No, I didn't like that. But anyway, we'll spill some beer in the parking lot a little bit later for Jason Miller, a.k.a. Father Damien.
Father.
That one?
You help an old altar boy.
No.
I'm a Catholic.
Anyway, 567-0560 in Dayton Broward, pound 560 on Verizon Wireless, 877-785-6345 is the toll-free number everywhere else. Here's Aventura, hello.
Yeah, queer boy, niggers die.
Is that it? You done?
Nazis
die.
Die.
You're a queer boy and a nigger, is that what you're saying? And? Miami, hello. Hello? Yes. Okay, how about a mobile in Miami, hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm from New Jersey. I'd like to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand the situation with, like, guns, and I'm saying, like, your aspect on everything with this shooting and the teaching and everything like that. Don't you think it would be fair if just the government just bans all kinds of guns?
So that's funny. Are you serious?
I am serious.
And how, have you really thought that through? All right, we wake up tomorrow, guns are illegal. Now what?
Now
We
that can get a
go
hold of
house
it,
to house. We go house to house and do a house. Sir, we go house to house and do a house to house search for people's guns and confiscate their guns. Is that what you're saying?
They do census.
And how many guns do you own? Was that one of the questions on the census?
How many do I own?
Was that one of the questions on the census?
No, but I'm saying that's how they go to door to door.
Yeah.
So I don't see why
You're going to go to door.
or some kind of arrangement.
All right, they go door to door. Do you have a gun in your house? No. Then what? Then what? Hello? Idiot. Moron. Not only would that not work anywhere, but in some places, I mean, how would you like to have that job? Joe, I'm going to send you to Montana, where everybody from the age of 14 up at least has one or several guns. I'm just using that as an example because I used to live there. It could be any, Midwestern rural area. Hi, I'm here to take your gun. No, you're not. I'm here to take yours. Thanks for the free gun that you have under your... talk about madness and insanity. The genie is out of the bottle. You're not going to take anyone's gun away. Not anyone's gun. Not a one. Not one gun are you going to get off the street. Too late for that. This country was born out of the wild, wild west mentality. The best we can do is figure out how to deal with them, educate kids about them, how dangerous they are, that they're not to be trifled with, and then separate the people who use them irresponsibly from our midst. And hopefully we can introduce some legislation about, keeping the guns out of the hands of criminals and background checks and waiting periods and things like that. Hopefully we can do something like that. But even that's a struggle. We can't even get it together to do that. And you want to go door to door and say, hi, gun collectors. Yeah, I got a gun. Here it is. See it? Look down the barrel of it. Weston, hello.
George.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I can't believe that guy was for real. That's why I kept asking him, are you serious? Are you for real?
Oh, man. I heard you're a big black titty nut for women.
Yeah. Why?
I got a back door here for you to go on this website. You have to listen now. It's a fairly long one, but it's...
You're going to give it out on the air? Why don't I put you on hold and give it to Joe?
Huh?
Give it to Joe.
Okay, well, that's what I asked him, and I said I couldn't talk to you, but okay.
Well, he doesn't want to, for some reason. I don't want him to give the back door out on the air.
Okay. Yeah. Well. I mean, in a way you have to join if you go to their website.
Oh, then never mind.
But then though, if you go in the back door, you get free. And what
it's not that big a deal. Well, just to let you know, I didn't even give it a thought one way or another until my experience, because
how was your experience?
We had a child. My experience was very rewarding.
My God.
So we had a child, so obviously you can infer what you will. We went through that process, and it was a very fun time for me. So I don't really want to see pictures of it and fantasize.
You're not going to see pictures of it. You just see like constant women just going
there.
I
don't want to see pictures anymore. I want to resubscribe to the Latchkey of the Month Club or something.
Well, you could, because there is a thing in here also, and it also shows you all about movies and what it is what they do is they give you 12 live feeds, and every feed it's updated like every 25 seconds. And you just constantly just...
See, I don't want to see those. I want to film them. I want to be like I said before on a previous show, I want to join the La Leche League as a lactation consultant. I didn't know that such a job existed, but I discovered it on the Discovery Health Channel.
Here's a great place also for you. There's a place in Las Vegas called the Green Door.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the top hottest. It's next to the Red Rooster, which is the top hot swing club up in Las Vegas. And one of the places do promote fetishes in there, and they do have it upstairs. But you have to be with a couple though to experience it. And it is upstairs, but it is at the Green Door upstairs.
Okay. Well, thanks for the tip anyway. But I'm just going to wait around. I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. Sadly. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Yeah, George.
Yes.
I heard you comment a little while ago about sending the folks to the islands.
Yeah, some island somewhere.
The Aleutian Islands, and I live in Fort Lauderdale now.
You've been there?
Dutch Harbor.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want those baboons. I mean, 25 years, we've never had a murder.
Okay.
The last murder
Tell me, come on, some of those islands have to be just scrubby with nothing on them, but like maybe an occasional seal or a sea lion.
Well, I'm from the biggest city in the Aleutians, and there's a couple. Shimia way out in the end used to be a military base. They closed.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But the rest of the Aleutians is actually pretty nice if you ever get a chance to go there.
Okay, no, I'd love to. That's on my list of things to do is go up to Vancouver, because I understand that they're very tolerant over there, and then hop a boat and take a tour of Alaska.
I was actually a police officer up there. Now I'm a police officer here in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You went from one extreme to the other. You went from...
find out what the rest of the world is like, but I'm going back.
Okay, I don't blame you.
So, okay, take care,
It's a beautiful country from everything that I've seen, just pictures, obviously, and everyone that I talked to. Here's a Mobile and Tavernier. Hello.
Good afternoon, George.
Good afternoon.
Good show.
Thank you.
Part of the big problem in this country, a lot of people don't pay attention to and realize is that the whole system we have is screwed up in the fact that the prosecution usually goes overboard to, I know from firsthand experience, they exaggerate, lie, do whatever they have.
That's what I said. It's a high school debate. It's a matter of, like, if you win, you get some brownie points. If the lawyer wins, he gets some brownie points. He gets to charge more later on. Shouldn't be the basis for justice.
I know, it's a game. You're the football.
Right.
You're the football. And the lawyers come up with, I believe the lawyers...
Every side is doing whatever they can. The one side is trumping up whatever charges they can and lying and fabricating evidence, and the other side is lying and using loopholes and padding the jury box with their, with ass suckers that are going to vote their way. That had nothing to do with justice or the pursuit of the truth.
I mean, if they could ever get down to the point where the lawyer is there just to make sure that you're not getting screwed over, it would work.
That's what it's supposed to be.
But it doesn't work like that.
And the prosecutor's supposed to be getting to the facts of the matter, but no.
And they don't. They don't. It's their careers are on the line, and it's a scorecard. It's how many win.
We need an overhaul.
Another issue I've been thinking about, because you always talk about pot and stuff. I've been smoking since '57. Can anybody I know how it became illegal.
Since 1157? Go ahead. No,
I know how it became illegal, but can anybody really tell me the God's honest truth why it's illegal? I mean, it's the only natural...
10-01-560 WQAM. Watching a little bit of Dark Angel last night. The kid likes it. So, overflowed into it. Yeah, I don't like it. And
she's in heat now.
Yeah, because they're genetically engineered, so I guess, whatever. It's like they're stealing from Star Trek with the Spock thing. But she's in all these magazines. I'm looking through the people. They got pictures of her here. She's on the Hot 100 list of Maxim and everything, and people are calling up. Remember when we did the Hot Women list here on the show? Somebody called up. Yeah, after serious consideration and looking at all the different pictures and that show, I don't like her. That's what I've come up with. Her face is just way too girly, cherubic. Do you know what I'm saying? She's got that baby face. Doesn't do it for me. I don't like her. So everybody can go as nutty as you want about Jessica Alba. Not for me. I'll take a pass on that.
The first time in my life that I looked at, someone who was of age and said, ugh, a little too young. Weird.
El Paso, it's because of the look of her face. That baby face. It's not attractive to me. So there you go. I just thought I'd mention that in passing, because I just came upon her picture again, and everybody's all hyper.
Now that
Jessica Alba,
that Swan from the HBO special.
Little Swan, man! I can't wait for her to turn 9. Mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hello, George.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Hey, the Dark Angel. I tried watching it last night too. I had to turn it off.
Yeah, it's.
It doesn't do nothing for me.
Nope.
Hey, listen, the one movie that comes to mind is, what is it, Escape from New York or something?
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. We were talking about it yesterday. That's an excellent idea, except instead of just giving them supplies, I'm thinking about an island where they can actually have some agriculture, where they can have like a little self-sustaining kind of a farm, and the people will have to work or starve.
Yeah, I mean, either that or like they were doing in the movie, they were killing each other off too.
They were killing each other off, but I'm not completely heartless. I believe in giving them a second chance away from us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you deserve a second chance, but what we're not going to do is trust you ever again to be with us.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're saying about a second chance, what's the guy doesn't have a second chance? He's dead.
Right, but the place that they're going to be sent isn't going to be pleasant. You understand?
But that would be like, what's his name, Steve McQueen in that movie with Dustin Hoffman when they put him on that island.
Oh, Papillon.
I'm losing.
Yeah, Papillon. That's an excellent example. They had their little garden and their little work farm in French Guiana. No, that's an excellent idea. I wonder if that... Click? He broke up. I wonder if that island is still available. And by the way, talk about a justice system that I can get behind as far as the punishment. Do you remember that? When was the last time you saw it?
Oh, years. Long time.
Native titties, it's always good to see it all over again. One of the first things that happens when they get there, the new prisoners get there, what event are they saving up to put on a show for the new arrivals? Guillotine show. They line them up right off the boat. They march them right in front of the guillotine. And the first speech is, here's what happens to people who don't cooperate. Shunk. And while this guy's all struggling, and it was actually a very uncomfortable, chilling scene, because the guy is spazzing out, and he's resisting, and they're wrestling him, and they stick his head in the blocks there, and bring the block down on his head to hold him steady, and he's still squirming, don't cut my head off, ka-chunk. Now we'll talk to you about what we expect of you after you saw what happens to people who let us down, who make problems of themselves while they're here. You made a problem of yourself on the outside, out amongst society, so they sent you here for us to deal with you. Let us show you what we're going to do with you from this point on if you give us any grief. An excellent system. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, George?
Mobile in Miami, yes.
George.
I want you to pick up that...
You were talking to a fellow before about getting rid of guns, and you said it can't be done. Correct?
Right, that's what I said.
All right.
Not here, not now.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right. I'm not proposing getting rid of guns. You'll never get rid of guns. But let's face it, we can get rid of ammo. If there is no ammo...
Yeah, that's hysterical. That's a laugh riot. Mobile in Miami, hello.
Hey, George.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? How's Neil coming along?
He's coming along fine.
Good. Listen.
Want his home number?
No, I just listen to your show every day, buddy.
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a wise ass.
He's feeling much better. I am trying to be a wise ass.
Oh, okay.
Don't take it the wrong way. I'm doing great.
Listen, I think that the problems we're having with the judicial system is that it's totally disbalanced. And you basically have a free ticket out anytime you commit a first offense.
Right. I have a problem. Help me.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah, me too.
What happens is that you have a bunch of psychologists and psychiatrists walking around today justifying everything that people do.
Absolutely right.
And then what happens, and this is what I think every time I see the picture on the news of that guy and the family he left behind. Mm-hmm. What are you going to tell those people?
That's exactly right. That's exactly the point.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with you because I think it's totally ridiculous. That's number one. Number two, if you got the money, you're out.
Right.
And that's it. I mean,
and by the way, that's the way it's always been. We're supposed to be different here. This experiment that we created over here called America is not supposed to favor the wealthy. But guess what? It does.
It does. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
We need to fix that.
Listen, I'm running around today with a couple of buddies of mine that I've turned on to your show.
Okay.
If you're able to find the bagpipes
I can find them.
Bitch, if you can play those.
I'll do the bagpipes, not Prison Bitch.
Okay, buddy.
Prison Bitch is too long.
All right, thank you.
You got it. Bagpipes. I actually haven't heard it in a long time.
That guy was going to kick your ass.
He was going to come over here and smack me because me and my smart mouth.
You were this much scared. Admit it.
Smart ass.
Admit you were a little worried.
Want to see the wet spot?
Yep.
Lady on the mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, George?
Great. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to comment on the judicial system. It's like in this country, you've got to pay for justice.
Right.
It's just, all men are created equal, right? But
Wrong.
If you have the money, you have to pay to get justice in this country, and I think it's pretty sad.
It is sad. I thought we fought a revolution so that, rich and wealthy aristocrats didn't run roughshod over the rest of us.
Exactly. I mean, it's from everything to cleaning up your credit report
right.
to, murder. If you've got money, you're going to get more justice than somebody who doesn't.
That's right.
And that's pathetic, and this is America, and it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't be. Money's supposed to get you luxury items, better food, better housing, a nicer car, tickets to shows. It shouldn't be able to buy you justice or exceptions to the law, etc. and so on. It should also not be able to buy you political power, but it does.
Exactly.
Oh. Gonna kiss me, breath, baby. 104-560 WQAM 567-0560 pound 560 on AT&T Wireless, and the toll-free everywhere else line is 877-785-6345. Don't forget, Jim Mandich will be in for Hank Goldberg today at 6 o'clock. We're talking hardball with Warren Cromartie. Then at 6:30, Sensormatics Marlins on deck. At 7:05, it's the Giants and the Marlins, followed by Ed Kaplan. Here's the mobile in Hollywood.
George.
Yeah.
This law that they disapproved last week about the selling marijuana for medical use.
The Supreme Court ruling, yes.
How are they just gonna? I mean, why can't they get to their head? This stuff is never gonna go away.
They can't and they won't, and that's the kind of world that we live in. We have a lot of laws that don't make any sense whatsoever. And we just have to keep fighting. We have to put the right people in the right places to eventually, little by little, make this a nice place.
What about the Taiwan trade that we're doing? What does that mean? What kind of weapons are we going to give them?
Lots.
Like
ships, destroyers, anti-aircraft, defensive kind of weapons that they can defend themselves from the evil Chinese.
And why are we doing this for? I mean, why are we giving them?
Because we're good guys. We're nice people, and we don't want to see that little island overrun by a bunch of commie bastards.
Do you think the states have been getting soft for the past 10 years?
Do I think that what now?
The states, United States. Have we been getting soft?
Getting soft?
Yeah.
Soft on what? Soft how?
I mean, like, I'm in my early 20s. I mean, since I've been growing up, I mean, I've always had the idea of U.S. dominant, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we're in charge of everything.
Military? No, I don't think we're as tough as we used to be, but we don't need to be either. We're still the biggest thing.
You think
there
so?
are always peaks and valleys in our strength.
So why do we, like, catch, like, a S-fit every time we hear, like, the Chinese want to get ticked off because we're trading with Taiwan and stuff? I mean, what threat does that have against us?
Because they have nukes, and they have an army that's 4 times the size of ours.
I mean, I heard one time...
We can't possibly field an army the size that they can.
I heard one time you were saying that they had... How many nukes did they have?
Oh, like 19.
I mean, is that proven fact?
Yeah.
Or how do you know they're not hiding anything else?
We don't. And we never will.
All right. Thank you, George.
I'd like to think that our espionage is better than theirs, but we have no way of knowing that either. We're a mess, but what are you going to do?
And the fact that is most... the fact that they're evil and we're not, that they have bad intentions as far as we're concerned. And people will say, well, how do we know our intentions are right? Because they're ours. Because
we don't know. Because we live here. That's why we want to thrive. No, we might not be on the moral high plane, but we live here. South Miami, hello.
Hey, happy birthday to your wife.
Uh-huh.
And
how do you know? Hello?
And you're queer?
You are. You wish I was. That's him again, by the way. Your friend just called and tried to get you off the hook, but too late for that, by the way. Mobile and Plantation.
Hey, George, how you doing today?
All right, how are you?
Boy, these callers are really trying to attack you today.
It's the same 3 punks. What's new about that? You've got these 3 gay guys. They're obsessed with homosexuality, and that's all they do all day long is,
Got nothing else better to do with their time.
Is obsessed with homosexuality. They call Neil because they want to talk to another gay man, and they're trying to suck me into their little club. Literally.
Literally, the way you put it. Hey, about that caller that said he wanted to go door to door asking about guns.
Yeah, I'm here for your gun now.
Well, don't you think they had enough problems with the citrus guys going door to door?
The citrus guys were getting shot.
And that was over a tree.
Right.
Hey, George, keep it up. You have a great show.
Take it easy. Unbelievable. Lauderhill, hello.
Hey, George.
Hi there.
How you doing? Just another example for your idea of sending them all the way to an island. There's the movie Ray Liotta called No Escape, I think.
Yeah, how was that? Because I never got around to seeing that.
It was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It was like a B movie type, but it wasn't bad.
I like B movies.
Yeah, it was pretty good. They had a good example of that, sending everybody away, and they had armed helicopters to shoot you down if you tried to escape, type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
All right. You take care.
Okay. And we'll give them agricultural tools and things like that so that they can feed themselves. But I don't want to just feed them money. Just keep dropping shipments of things. Coral Springs, hello.
Hey, George. How you doing?
All right. How are you?
Like your show.
Thank you.
Hey, you think you can play Sofa King?
No, I'll think about it. Was that it? That's not... The other guy at least had material. At least had a conversation. No, I'm not going to. By the way, here's the poll results for right now. At what age should you be held responsible for your actions? 13 is running away with it, by the way. 54 votes so far out of 188. That's 28.7%. 12 is in second place with 28 votes. 16 is in third place with 22 votes. 7, which was the lowest number we had on there, has 21, as does 10. See, I voted for 10. Nice number. You can teach that to the children. You hold up this many hands. See this many? That's how old you have to be before we're going to hold you responsible for your crap. Before you're a criminal and not someone who needs help. And then we have 15 votes for 18, 9 votes for 15, 8 votes for 14, 4 for 8, 3 for 11, and then 1 each for 9, 17, and 19. I don't know if this makes any sense to me at all. I can understand the 13. 13, the first year of your teenage. That's when a lot of people think you're an adolescent, I guess. 13. Or do you think that they're voting for 13 because that's what Nathaniel happened to be when he committed this crime? Do you think there's a tie in there?
In many cultures, 13 is where you become an adult.
Okay.
Isn't that right? What about the Jews? Don't they think that? Isn't that what bar mitzvah means? You're a man now?
Open the door and ask one. Anybody that you see in the closet will be able to answer that question.
Hey, you Jews!
Miami, hello. Anybody on the hall?
George.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk a minute about the kid that just called from New Jersey about getting rid of the guns, and you said that couldn't be done.
Right.
Well, I agree that that cannot be done. You'll never get all the guns. But let's face it, if you've got absolutely no ammo, if you get rid of the ammo...
Did you call again? Is this your second call?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you be so ridiculous? Where do people... I mean, I didn't answer him and just hung up and didn't continue the conversation because it's ridiculous on the face of it. Because whatever you make illegal will become underground contraband. Because whatever you make... Like, for example, drugs are illegal. We don't have any drugs in this country, do we? Since, after all, they're illegal. Whatever it is that you want, someone will provide it for you. You'll give them the money and then you'll have it. Laws do nothing to prevent people from doing something that they feel they have the right to do, like smoking drugs or firing off a gun, for example. If you feel you have the right to do it, you're going to do it, and the law is not going to deter you at all. What is this guy going to propose? Shut down all the ammo plants in the United States? Okay, the ammo will come from overseas, and it'll come from whoever wants to make a profit. And people, just like they run drugs, and just like we've had gun runners in the past running guns over the borders, we've had Bible runners running Bibles into the old Soviet Union, which was against the law, renegade missionaries smuggling Bibles in. Somebody's going to get the ammo to the people who want it. You're not going to get rid of anything, my insane friend. 111 on 560. WQAM.
Looking for a mortgage? You want to refinance your home? Want a great rate? Then call the financial group at 800-940-LEND. They offer...
And proud of it. 117 on 560. WQAM. 5670560 is the number to call in Dade or Broward. Pound 560 on Verizon Wireless, 877-785-6345 everywhere else. So you didn't see the, you were out of the room, Joe, and then on the phone watching the background on this date with, she's a born-again Christian, and he's Jewish, but his motto is, we'll breed with any creed, which I thought was funny. So talk about I wish I could listen.
As long as they held the same...
Let's just take a moment and listen to Blind Date Right. She opened up with it right away, which makes her a typical born-again Christian, by the way. She just opened right up with it and started in on that. And I'm sure that goes over really well with the Jewish people when basically you come right out and say, if you don't believe in Jesus as your personal Savior, you're nothing, you're worthless, your life is nothing, no matter how good you are, you're going to burn in hell, God hates you.
She just said that the Jews killed Jesus. Right to him.
Well, it's a known fact, I thought. Here's Coral Springs, hello.
Yeah, hi, George.
Hi.
There's a trial going on in Atlanta that's right up your alley. It involves a strip club, the pro athletes, the mob, and the FBI. Did you hear about this?
No.
This club
Is this a joke?
This club sent strippers to the Knicks camp in South Carolina. They performed a lesbian act, and then they did the Knicks. You didn't hear about this?
No.
Okay, the Gambino crime family is involved, and their witnesses are going to be Patrick Ewing, Dennis Rodman, Terrell Davis of the Broncos, Jamal Anderson of the Falcons, and John Gotti's son. It's really going to...
It sounds like a joke. I'm waiting for the punchline.
This is it.
And then the rabbi comes in and says, not without my umbrella. What, you know...
They said the trial's going to last anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
It's just
sounds great. Can't wait to tune it in. She's wearing leopard print. spaghetti string top, this born-again Christian, no bra, leopard print, cleavage showing. Just saying. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
George, can I point out that the Pope forgave us?
The Pope forgave who?
The Jews. He said it wasn't our fault.
Oh, okay. You're off the hook.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to say to the Pope, forget about it. We're not mad at you.
Forget about it. Okay.
All right. Can I ask you one other question, George?
Sure.
You know, I have a schizophrenic relationship with you. When you talk about Israel, I hate you. Otherwise, I love you.
Well, I love you, too.
All right.
When are you going? I want you to bring me back something.
But my
Hello?
Hello. My question is, George, you're such a bright guy. Why don't you become a citizen so you can vote?
I'm gonna. I'm working on it. Lawyer's working on it. I'm gonna do it.
All right,
So
great.
I don't have to be a hypocrite anymore, okay?
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot. The wife was nagging me about it last night. Are you doing it? I'm doing it. Because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy slug. I don't want to get into it. It's like everybody's on my case, the family especially. Nobody bugs me about it more than the family.
Don't waste your breath on us. You've said this before.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm over it. So I'm a man without a country. Is that all right? Can I just be a floater? Lady in Miami, hello.
Hi, I want to ask you something about The Sopranos.
Okay.
Did you watch it on Sunday night?
Of course.
Okay, the ending. Why did they show that guy?
Joe doesn't know either. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The only thing that I can...
Didn't you think he was going to, jump out and, try to kill him or something?
Something like that. But I don't think that's over with, first of all, because she's crazy. And crazy people make no sense. They do things that make no sense. And I think that she's going to. But what I think that they were trying to say, and again, I'm not real happy with the ending of it, is, here he goes back to his normal life. He just pulled out a gun and threatened this woman with murder. And now it's business as usual, back to picking up butter for his wife or whatever it was. Business. It's like life goes on.
All right, I was just wondering if anybody thought.
I don't know. That's the best I can do. I could be wrong, but we just can't figure it out.
It was bizarre.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right,
strange.
you're welcome. That was very nice. Not I understood the previous weeks with the mayonnaise, because they do the symbolic thing on that show. It's art what they're doing on that show when they're riding back in the car all quiet. And nobody's saying anything, and just Paulie Walnut, his hair's all messed up and everything, and Tony looks at him in the mirror, and Tony's pissed. You can tell Tony's pissed, of course. And Paulie's got mayonnaise on his chin from the sandwich, and he goes, "You got mayonnaise on your chin." Huh? Not even what, just huh? Like some sort of a dumb shit. He goes, "Mayonnaise, mayonnaise," and he pointed it with his middle finger. He, flipped him off. I think that was subliminal. Mobile in West Palm, hello.
Yeah, hey, George, how you doing?
All right, how are you, sir?
Good, thanks, man. Hey, I got a theory I'd like you to comment on. It's about idealism and culture, how it affects the evolution, and possibly blueprints recessive genes for crime and other action.
Wow, that's heavy.
What do you think about that?
You lost me at blueprints.
Well, as far as recessive gene goes, even alcoholism received the data. You know what I mean?
The addictive personality is genetic, yes.
You think
the tendency to be addicted. Do you know what I'm saying? There are people, I know people that are addicted to, for a TV show, a game, an activity. They can't stop doing an activity. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's like OCD, yeah.
Right. And they go from one addiction to another. For example, the people that quit smoking gain weight. They need to do something. They go overboard with one thing, then they go overboard with another thing. I don't know if you've known, because we were just talking about born-again Christians, former alcoholics who are fanatics. They obsessed with alcohol, and now they obsess with Jesus. They can't just be moderate. They have to take everything to the extreme.
That's an uncured alcoholic. They're just an addictive person.
Right.
Could we extend that fact into other areas such as crime?
Why not?
Okay, well, I just wanted to bring that point across.
Okay, and when you don't even have to stay with genetics. Scumbags have children who are usually grow up to be scumbags. If you want to say it's genetic, okay. They inherited the scumbag gene. But then there's the cultural thing. Well, not cultural, but just within that family group. Scumbags don't usually make good parents. And children who didn't have good parents usually, or at least in my case, some sort of a positive adult role model, usually grow up to be pieces of crap. So even if it isn't genetic, the fact that you were raised by scum, you're scum.
This week's Newsweek, which I just got, the cover says, "Why
I'm holding it now. What makes people go wrong? And big red evil thing. I was going to read it last night, but I didn't think I was doing the show today, so I played computer games instead.
Oh,
my bad. So I can't wait.
Too.
I can't wait to read it. What game?
I really wasn't. I was just bouncing around.
All right.
Well, you gave me that magazine, the internet.
There you go.
Great porn sites. So,
Lady in Palm Beach, hello.
Hi, George.
Hi.
Doing a good job as usual.
Why, thank you.
I had a point for that genius that called up about the ammunition. Yeah, exactly. I obviously am from the South, but by my accent, and my father, this is a little scary, but he had a machine to make his own
I was talking with Joe during the break. He said, what about the people that make their own ammo? And I said, my brother-in-law, who I just saw and had a wonderful weekend with in North Carolina, makes his own deer ammo. Not only that, because he's just reloading. Understand, he's buying ingredients.
He's reloading the buckshot and stuff?
Right, and reloading ammo. But then I know other people who are black powder hunters who mold their own musket balls and mix their own powder out of the raw ingredients, which are ordinary household items. What is it? Saltpeter and charcoal and what else am I missing? Oh, sulfur. Sulfur, saltpeter, and charcoal. There you go, black powder.
Yep, and not only that, you can buy strips of lead and put them into a special, like a bullet molding.
As a mold, right. I've molded bullets. I've done that.
Yeah. So this guy, it's just moot point with that.
1:30 on QAM. Remember that the old guy, it was down here, I think. He was old when they let him out. His crime when they put him in was he kidnapped, raped, and cut the arms off of this girl and left her for dead. Which I can't even imagine that. I mean, this chick's walking around with fake arms. And they let the old guy out. And he made a beeline to the nearest prostitute and killed her. After, 50 years in jail or something like that. Proving my case again. Every time you turn on the news, there's somebody proving my case again. I don't believe that there's a cure, and I don't care if there is a cure for people who up and hurt other people. And for the Jamaican guy that was calling, I'm talking about people who hurt other people by putting their hands on them or their things. The law is real simple. There are 3 laws in George's world. You can't touch nobody, you can't touch their stuff, and you have to tell the truth in matters of business. You can't lie, cheat, and steal. That's it. Those are the laws right there. Touch no one. Touch no one's stuff. If you're doing business, legal stuff, contract stuff, money's changing hands, you're trading a horse for a cart or whatever, you have to tell the truth. You can't say that the horse is 3 years old if it's 15. You can't say that the car has never been in a wreck when it was. What am I leaving out?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, whatever, if I am forgetting something, we'll talk about that when the time comes. But there's no coming back from that. Once you've established in your head that your desire for an object is more important than someone else's right of ownership, I don't know if there's a cure for that. I don't think there is a cure for that, and I don't care if there is a cure for that. You don't come back from that. You're a thief, you go to thieves' world. You're a murderer, you go to murderer's world. You're a cheating, lying, deceptive businessman, you go to cheating, lying, deceptive businessman's world. You don't mix with the rest of us ever again. And your pain-in-the-ass family members that are going to cry and say that the rest of us are cruel for wanting to get rid of you, they get to go with you if they want. That's their option. Kendall, hello.
Hey, George, enjoying the show.
Hey, how are you?
All right, Sopranos.
Yes.
Okay, remember earlier in the show, that woman that the car dealer gave Mrs. Soprano a ride home and commented on her ring?
Yes.
Okay, now later in the show, when Tony gets home at the end of the show, she's not wearing that ring.
I did not know that.
Okay, and he asked her, where's the ring? And she said, I took it to get it sized. I think the whole thing about the guy driving away in the caddy, I think she phoned his wife, and we just didn't see this, and he went and offed her, and that's what I think happened. And that was like showing you, okay, and then he got home, where's the ring? It's not there. And they just didn't say anything about it, and they leave it up to you to figure out.
I don't think he offed her. Wait, off who?
The car salesman.
No, definitely not.
I don't think that happened. They would have shown that.
What's that got to do with the ring?
He walked out. No, I think Carmilla took the ring off.
Just as a statement. She's guilty about it.
She feels guilty about it because what's-her-name pointed to it, and she took a shot in the car that I thought Carmilla was going to be a bitch about. You remember? It's like, oh, it must be nice to have a man to take care of you. Meaning, you're a whore. You get your money from your husband.
Yeah.
Is what she was saying. And that's why she took the ring off. It's like, oh, you're right. Ew.
She was ragging on her a bit, but the homemaker thing.
Right, yeah.
But all right, well, I just thought there was a.
I don't think so. But
quick request, please.
Sure, I'll listen to your request. I might not play it.
Let's go smoke some pot, George.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
That's right up my alley. I'll think about it hard. Mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Hey, George. How are you?
All right. How are you?
Good. I got a theory about The Sopranos.
All right.
I got a question for you first. Did your wife like The Sopranos?
Yeah. So yeah.
Does she really?
Absolutely.
My wife's kind of lukewarm on it, but then this year she really hated it. I mean, where Ralphie, beat the stripper to death, and then a lot of the
yeah. Well, that's all good. That's all gritty. See, the thing is, I wasn't watching it from the beginning. And Boca Brian, bless his heart, I love him dearly, gave me the entire first episode on video. And usually it's me getting dragged by her to watch something that I don't want to watch, like Gone with the Wind or something like that. And I have to admit, yeah, okay, it was good. But in this case, it was me. I was like, oh, she's like, mob series. And I'm like, no, honey, you got to sit here and watch it. I've watched all your crap, and with limited success, so you have to watch this with me. And she was hooked from the very first episode. And then luckily we had, imagine this, the whole series on tape. So we just watched it in one sitting all the way through.
Okay, well, let me say this, though. Your wife is exceptional and unusual, I think, in her taste as far as that kind of stuff
I don't know.
goes.
She's into those highbrow movies.
Okay, well, most of my friends' wives do not like The Sopranos. So what I think is happening, listen, real quick, is that I think The Sopranos know that. Like, for instance, the one in the woods, I love that episode. My wife hated it. I think last week's episode...
What was not to love about? That was great.
I thought it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Sure.
But I think last week's episode was all about the producers and directors thinking we want to get back that women demographic.
Yeah, you know what?
Last week was a woman show. Think about it. It was a woman show.
Chick episode. It was Carmilla and her pain.
No question about it. No question.
She's having to wrestle with her demons.
Exactly. They're going back they're trying to bring, I think, the women back in who have found this season a little distasteful. I really think that's what it is.
I think you're right.
Okay.
Later on. Mobile in Miami. Hello.
George?
Yes?
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Listen, about The Sopranos. I'm doing great. About The Sopranos, I think that scene at the end where he's leaving in his car, I think it was two things. I think, one, just what you said, they're just showing that he's just a regular guy doing a regular job, and that's not a big deal for him to threaten someone to kill him. And then the other thing was, I think the writers are just screwing with the audience just to sort of tease us.
Oh, they're just trying to get us to talk about them like this.
Yeah, and I think also, but the real cool storyline was Jackie Aprile and his whole scam.
Yeah.
And how stupid he is to think that he could get away with it.
He's so stupid.
Where they show him with his buddy, let's make the call, and then they get sidetracked watching the movie with Sharon Stone.
Yeah. Oh, look, here's the part. Here's the part. Oh, yeah. No, they were stupid, idiotic, cranked up punks.
And it's a great show. And also, Tony, when he's talking to Ralph, and Ralph comes in, and Ralph is thinking he's going to let Jackie he's going to try to plead his case to let Jackie get off.
Yeah.
And Tony says, yeah, that's fine. Because Tony wants to take the guilt off his back for stealing his best friend's kid.
I got that right away. Tony's like, look.
And so now this guy leaves, Ralphie leaves, and he's going to kill him.
Yeah, Ralphie, that's what was important about. Ralphie leaves, and he's like looking up, and he's sighing, exasperated, like, oh, Tony put it all on him. He put it all on me. It's like, oh, it's your call. You're the captain. Your call. But Tony, no, your call.
Yeah.
And that's not what Ralphie wanted to hear.
Over to his girlfriend, and he basically says he's laying the groundwork that, let's hope for the best, and he's not too far gone, and he's in the drugs.
Yep.
So that he's taking it off his back.
Sure.
It's a great show. I love it.
I can't wait for the finale and next season.
All right, man. Take care.
Later on. What?
I hope Furio gets a hold of Jackie Chan.
Dude, they tease us with Furio. You gotta be on a U-hat. Oh, wait. Do I have that in here? What do I have in here? Oh, here we go.
Stupid f***ing game.
Here's Mobile in West Palm. Hello.
George, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. Hey, the thing with her in the ring was simple. Remember when she went to the priest was saying to her to give up the things, and he was looking right at her ring.
Oh.
Saying about giving up all the money, remember? Saying all the stuff, exactly.
The priest from Cameroon.
Exactly. Then when the girl says it to her, then she's like, oh, no, now I'm screwed. I got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's comedy gets her.
Okay.
And did you also notice that when he came in, what was she reading? The real estate book? Did anybody pay attention to that?
No, I did not.
Oh, she was reading a book about taking a real estate exam. She was in the middle of it. See,
we need to have a group. We need to have a Sopranos group.
Call me on Monday. Straighten you back.
All right.
Hey, finally got the part about, what's his name, Patsy, right? Is that absolutely, it's just showing you that's work. I'm on the way home from work. What can I get you? No, those shells, you just throw them in the oven.
I just punched out, honey. What can I bring home?
One request, if possible, George.
Maybe.
My brother's down from New York, and he's never heard Prison Bitch.
Oh, for crying out, Pete. Prison Bitch. It's 4 freaking minutes long. 21 till 2 on 560 WQAM.
Hey, if you need new footwear, run over and get you some quality, comfortable shoes at New Balance Miami. I've been telling you about them for a long time at New Balance. Okay. 14 till 2, 560 WQAM. Don't forget to join Joe Costello this Saturday from noon to 2 at BJ's Wholesale Club in Pembroke Pines. Joe, Miguel, and one of the beautiful QAM cuties will be there at 13700 Pines Boulevard with great prizes. Sorry, I thought I could get through it that time. Food from Atlantic City.
What are you laughing at?
The great prizes.
Those koozies are
They're really
cool.
great.
They're in demand.
Food from Atlanta City Subs, where Ira makes the difference, and that's this Saturday, noon till 2, BJ's Wholesale Club, 13700 Pines Boulevard. How about a lady in Boca?
George?
Yes?
Hi.
Hi.
Great show. I love talking about The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
It's really one of the few.
We could have a group. We could form a club, the
I'm telling you, it's
Sopranos
one of the
discussion group.
Yeah, it would be great. It's really one of the few television shows that are decent. The rest of it, news is great, but this is phenomenal.
Well, HBO is, and now they've sucked me into their America Undercover because they've had 3 good ones in a row.
True.
So I really am looking forward to Sunday nights now. I was discussing with another caller on a previous show. Sunday nights used to be really a bummer. Mm-hmm. Remember way back when all you had was The Wonderful World of Disney, and it was usually some squirrel movie where the guy was narrating the antics of a chipmunk and a squirrel, and there was nothing. And then you had Wild Kingdom and Lawrence Welk.
Yep. Well, I'm not much of a TV watcher at all,
but it sucked. And now Sunday nights is like you got The Simpsons and you got The Sopranos and the America Undercover. I clear my slate so that I can enjoy all of it.
It's awesome. Well, I want to talk about The Sopranos.
Okay.
It's absolutely probably the best show ever, and yes, for females too.
For a soap opera type episodic show, absolutely.
But The Ring was symbolic of her entire lifestyle, and at what cost, and the kind of tug of war that she has with herself of, her standard of living, and at what price she pays for it.
Be a good Catholic for 15 minutes. Is that so much to ask?
Exactly.
Yes.
And the fact that she took it off and she was reading a real estate book after having all of that conversation about Hillary Clinton and should you stand by your man?
Right.
Or
she's trying to justify her continued existence.
Well,
that's why she went to the priest.
The real estate book, to me, and The Ring off was symbolic of her going to leave Tony.
You think in the last episode she's going to try to leave Tony?
No, not the last. Next season.
Next season.
Yep.
That's going to be heavy if that happens.
Well, she wants to have a normal life in that, she just kind of wants to bake cookies and that kind of thing and have that, because there she was sitting there reading her real estate book. Yes, I bake cookies for the church. And
I forget what the exact line that the priest used, but essentially he told her to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative and that kind of stay on the positive ground and forget about all the rest of it. It didn't seem like she took to that really well.
No, but that's also like covering up.
Yeah, well, exactly.
She is not going to do that. She is going to become this independent woman, and I don't think she's going to stand by her man.
Okay.
All right.
I'll say you were right on the air if it happens that way, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, we could do a whole just talking Sopranos all day long, and I'd be just fine by that. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Hey, good afternoon, George.
Afternoon, how are you?
Oh, hanging in here. Hey, I kind of tuned in a little bit late, and I caught a couple of things that you were talking in reference to people once they steal and stuff like that. And tell me if I'm wrong, but were you basically saying that if somebody was to steal for the rest of existence for that person, they basically are always going to be known as a thief, and there is no rehabilitation for that person?
As far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay. As far as you're concerned, okay. I was just wondering.
I'm tired of coddling criminals. I'm tired of second chances. If everyone gets a second chance, that means we all get one free crime, right?
Well, in a sense, that's a great way to look at it, and I can only.
Because all the rest of us, we haven't even committed our first crime, nor would we, because you know what? Because it's wrong, and we know it's wrong, and therefore we wouldn't do it. But everybody else gets a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance. I mean, screw that.
That's correct. Just on my own experience, I could tell you, when I was a younger person at the age of 19, I committed a crime. I went away to prison. I served a year in prison. Now I have gotten out of prison. It's been over 11 years. And now myself, I have my master's degree from Nova University. I have a college degree. I work for a great company. So as far as for myself, yeah, it did take me the one time to learn, but the one time I really got kicked in my ass. I went away to prison for a whole year.
Now,
so
how many of your prison peers do you think you have that in common with?
Maybe 2%, maybe not, or maybe 1%. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't. It's not that I don't.
I think you're right, because that bears out exactly where you raped. By the way, Joe wants to know where you raped.
No, I wasn't raped, man. Why would you ask
Joe
that?
wants to know.
Hey, that's fine.
Hey, Oz.
No, we watch Oz, so that's all we think about. Is anal rape all day long.
Well, that's just like saying you watch The Sopranos and saying that every Italian family that's out there is mafia connected.
It'll be the game.
Okay.
That show.
Anyway,
All right, buddy,
I'm
nice
happy for you, but yeah, by his own admission, and that's my point. I'm not saying that that nobody can be rehabilitated, but what percentage? 1 to 2% according to this guy, and that's about right. That's about my estimate. 8 till 2.
You f***ing piece of...
Just want to mouth off?
This, I'm going to Boca.
Okay, some of us are already there, like Nathaniel Brazil. They're in West Palm. Anyway, they're reassembling everybody. They have reached a verdict. We're going to find out, according to them, within 15 minutes, probably more like 10 minutes from now. And I wish I was the program director for a day, because I would forward.
Who is very socially conscious when it comes to cool stuff like this.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to make the call. I think, inquiring minds want to know what the resolution is going to be to this case. It's the hottest, heaviest thing going on right now. Last time I checked.
Without a doubt.
Let me see, Elion's gone. The citrus canker thing has been resolved, sort of. What am I missing? Over here, they found that Cuddy guy. What?
Oh, A.J. Burnett had a no-hitter the other day.
Who?
Exactly.
So we're going to find out.
But
Everybody's in place. I'm all raring to put the audio on and let it go, but I'm not the PD and I can't make this call, and I have a feeling that, in 60 seconds the show's going to end and nobody in our audience is going to find out what happened here.
I'm absolutely positive. that the Mad Dog and those guys will cover it.
Well, they have the ability to put television audio on their board?
Yes.
If they don't, then we do. We'll go to, it's not going to happen before the Ken Malden Sports News update. So why don't I just end the show, and if they want to carry it, we'll hang around. And if Mad Dog wants to DJ the audio from Court TV for this thing and then do the show, he can. And if they want to forget about it, they can forget about it. I wash my hands like Pontius Pilate of the whole thing. Here comes the judge. The judge is sitting down.
Well, they got a dish in there just like we do. They have all the same capabilities we do. It's whether...
Before we get started,
he's going to do a whole bunch of, he's going to make a big, long speech. Anyway, Jim Mandich is on right now in place of Hank Goldberg. The Chivas Regal Talking Hardball with Warren Cromartie show starts at 6 o'clock right after the Mad Dog. At 6:30, Sensormatic Marlins on deck. Yes?
Are you a little early?
I've got exactly 2.
I've got 1:58.
Oh, dude. What happened to the clock up here? Why is it 2 minutes fast?
I don't know.
The clock over here on the computer and my watch say 1:58. Like I said, I got 2 more minutes.
In working on this case, to everyone involved in this case, I expect everyone to act as ladies and as gentlemen. And that there be absolutely no disruption in the courtroom.
Yeah.
All right. Would you ask the jurors to join us?
And here they come. Do we have jury marching music? Oh, we're going to stay with it. We just got clearance. Excellent.
Jury entering?
It's the right thing. Jury entering. Boy, this is like... They don't, they could be more organized about this. What do you think? Roller skates for the jury? How about, the roll-top desks?
You're killing the drama.
I'm filling the time, filling the silence. We could play filler music in honor of Father Damien. This is kind of tense music.
Here's Nathaniel. Wild-eyed.
Well, looking if everyone's seated, please.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that you've reached a verdict. If you would kindly hand it to Deputy Cascone. I can impose upon counsel and for the parties and the defendant to please stand while the verdict is being read. And Ms. Galloway, if you would kindly publish the verdict.
Yes, sir. In the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit Criminal Division in Palm Beach County, Florida, case number 0006385CFAO2, Division B, State of Florida versus Nathaniel Brazil, defendant. Verdict: we, the jury, find as follows. As to count one, we find the defendant guilty of second-degree murder with a firearm or lesser-included offense as contained in the...
What?
As to count two, we find the defendant guilty of aggravated assault with a firearm as charged in the indictment. We find the defendant possessed or carried a firearm in committing aggravated assault, and it's marked yes. So say we all, the 16th day of May, 2001, West Palm Beach County, Florida, and it's signed by the foreperson, Mr. Simmons.
Okay, second-degree murder carries a sentence of 22 years to life, which I guess they're going to have to deal with. Anyway, that's it. We're over. He's guilty.
The Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
And good afternoon at 2:01. Jim Mandich up next with the Hammer. I'm Ken Malden with the QAM Sports headlines. Marlins Giants go at it again tonight at the Pro.